What's going on, fellow A-plussers? It is I, your more phenomenal host, Adam Perez, back once again with a brand new episode of A-plus More Phenomenals. We're here to go ahead and break down your Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, and Ultraman news and reviews each and every weekend, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much for certainly joining us live here every Saturday at noon, guys. Thank you very much. As we are here to go ahead and wrap up season 1 of Dino Fury, ladies and gentlemen. We've got that to definitely dive into today. We had ourselves a Hasbro Pulse Fan First Friday. As of yesterday, we're going to be talking about some of the content that was showcased to us as of yesterday, from the Zord Ascension project to the Boom Studio stuff. We've even got some information in regards to Amy Jo Johnson this week, and of course, none other than the Legend of the White Dragon teaser trailer that wind up dropping this past Thursday, guys. Should be a fun episode, honestly. I'm really looking forward to going ahead and wrapping up this season and picking your guys' brains and your thoughts in regards to everything. Because remember, at the end of the day, these are just simply my A-plus opinions. I want to know yours, though. So let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below, guys. And if you do have any live viewer questions that you would certainly like to go ahead and submit over, feel free to go ahead and do so at any time during the week to aplusmorephenomenal@gmail.com. Again, that's aplusmorephenomenal@gmail.com. If you're watching an episode, if you read a news article, if you hear some tidbit of information you might have questions in regards to, feel free to submit them over at any particular time, guys. So thank you very much. As we're on our regularly scheduled time today, I know last weekend we had to go live a little bit later in the afternoon, around 2 o'clock last week. With me and the girlfriend still trying to juggle what our life schedule is going to be like with our newborn at home and things like that. I know she's still doing her real estate thing, so every once in a while she's got to go ahead and showcase a house. So we're definitely juggling things around here, not only just the baby, but we also have a cat and I think like 7 dogs. So yeah, it's very packed and very busy around this household, to certainly say the least. But always making time for you guys each and every weekend. So thank you very much for certainly joining us. And you guys know how we do around here. We got to give some love, man. We got to give some shout outs to the people that spend their quality afternoon to go ahead and sit down and spend with us talking Power Rangers and Tokusatsu. We got Koala in the house. What's going on? Blossom. Thank you very much, L'Oreal, for certainly coming through. Adam Perea. What's going on, man? It's like my twin is here. Good to see you. We got AJ in the house. And of course, Power Rangers Ready, the same person. AJ, I got to ask, how much time during the week do you spend creating brand new Google accounts, my guy? I got to know. I feel like every time you come on here, there's like a brand new screen name for you that you're just juggling back and forth. So thank you very much, man, for certainly coming through. Who knows? Maybe it's somebody else completely. Maybe this isn't even AJ that I'm so used to. It could be somebody else. That's just what Power Rangers Ready does to me, man. It gets me confused. We got Jordan in the house. What's going on, Jordan? He says season 1 finale was awesome and so much setup for season 2 now. Absolutely. We got Doomsday in the house. Thank you very much, Doomsday. Always coming through for me. Harka in here. JB says, what? Happy Saturday to you too, man. Thank you very much. He says you're super close to monetization. Yeah, I think we're maybe like 10, 11 subscribers off from 1,000. I think we're at like 989 subscribers. So listen, if you guys continue to join us on a regular basis and have yet to subscribe, do me a big favor, man. Hit that subscribe button, guys. Hit that like button too. It definitely goes a long way. Emmanuel's in the house. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. He says if you don't the Christmas special, this is the end of the PR era of Nickelodeon. That's right. They do have a Christmas special, I believe, next week, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see if we review it. I don't see why we wouldn't, but we'll definitely see. Edward Sanchez Productions in the house. Marcelino Vasquez has certainly joined us today. Video DVD certainly coming through. Thank you very much. We got Frankie in the house. Thank you very much, Frankie, for certainly coming through. Who else we got in here? Charles, good to see you in here, man. And of course, Datilla. Guys, listen, if you guys are big wrestling fans also, Datilla has a great YouTube channel, Rangers of Wrestling, where she goes ahead and highlights SmackDown reviews, Raw reviews, AEW reviews. She's definitely doing it all, keeping herself rather busy, guys. So definitely go ahead and support Datilla if you guys are big Power Ranger or Power Ranger, and because I think she started the Power Ranger podcast or talking about it from time to time also. But if you are big wrestling fans, go ahead and certainly check her out. All right, guys. I think and she says you went to SmackDown last night. Yes, I saw some of your shorts, your videos and stuff. The classic was that Charlotte and Becky doing the classic like rolling around the ring into continuous pins sort of thing. I was always a big fan of that moment. And then Marcelino Vasquez says I just watched Indies Anime Assembled today. So thank you very much for checking it out, Marcelino. Yes, on our other YouTube channel page that we have, A Plus Hero Report. We not only talk Marvel, DC, television, and movies, but anime also every Saturday morning. Usually drops around 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken, on our other YouTube page. All right, guys. With that out of the way, because we have so much Power Ranger content, I actually don't even think I have one bit of Tokusatsu news and information this week, guys. Just being honest with you, this is going to be a full-on Power Ranger episode, and then into your guys' live viewer questions. So should be rather interesting to go ahead and dive into it. But the first thing we got to dive into, guys, as we wrap up season 1 of Dino Fury, the season finale, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Episode number 21 aired today over on Nickelodeon. It's been up on Netflix for quite a few weeks, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe like a month or so, if I'm not mistaken. Also, Void Trap was the title of this particular episode. And I got to tell you, man, a hell of a season finale. A hell of a season finale. I really appreciated just what this season was capable of doing, of just building up to this particular momentum, establishing some amazing supporting characters to certainly go along the way also. And then on top of that, man, to end off in this way, in such an intense episode, incredible action, wrapping up a storyline, but also doing a great job. I love what Simon Bennett did in regards to launching and heading into sort of the second season. Really went a long way for me in the sense of letting people know, like, look, while we are wrapping this up, there's certainly plenty more to come. And I thought it was just a really unique way to go ahead and certainly do it instead of just leaving it, as a completed storyline, credits rolling and things like that. It really did get me hyped to kind of see the team once they get their powers back. It's like back to business sort of thing, right? Like they don't miss a step whatsoever. Sporks Beasts are certainly still out there. The amazing pose at the very end to go ahead and get you hyped, and then really giving us that cliffhanger in a sense of what's going to happen to Santora, seeing the Void Knight damaged mask and things like that, really got me hyped for season 2. And so I do think that people that have watched season 1, if you love what you saw there, I honestly believe that a lot of these people are certainly going to return for the second season. And hopefully we get some newcomers to the show also. So kudos to Simon Bennett, to the amazing writers in here and how they built the story, the characters, and really left us on a fantastic, I don't even call it a cliffhanger so much, but a great lead in into the second season. So yeah, I love this episode, man. I truly did. I've never felt so nervous about a plan or an outcome in a Power Ranger episode before as I did to this. And the intensity was just all the way throughout. Like the pacing of this episode was very sort of nonstop, right? And I think a lot of that is built off of how they've built off the past couple of episodes, not really feeling like they've been singular episodes, kind of leaving the last minute or two of each to kind of build into the next. And the payoff certainly came in here of just seeing the intensity and the pacing all episode long. And a lot of that definitely is attributed to the Burt selling music that we get in here. Kudos to Burt, who's been fantastic all season long, but he was just perfect in this episode to truly capture just all the emotions that you kind of feel. It honestly gave me goosebumps. Like there's so many moments in this episode that certainly gave me goosebumps. Incredible original fights that we wind up getting into this also. And we got ourselves a couple of great sayings in here, right? Once a Ranger, always a Ranger sort of thing. Yeah, it gave me plenty of goosebumps to kind of see how the finale certainly wrapped up. So again, I think Simon Bennett just has a really great a group of crew members on board that understands his vision, understands how to get the storyline and the emotions across. And you couldn't have asked for more. Even the second unit directors, I don't know if that was Kenji or Yuji this week, whoever the second unit director was. But man, they brought it, especially with all the original fights that we wind up getting in here. The civilian fight towards the end, like my God, like for me, when I see stuff like that, especially the civilian fight at the very end, it is one of those things that it was just so epic on so many levels, and just to see how physical this particular cast was for the finale was just really incredible and just inspiring to see just kind of the effort that really went into sort of the final battle. You know, like we've had maybe a few civilian fights here or there sort of thing, but not on this scale when it comes to Dino Fury. And to be able to see the cast itself really get involved, really get their hands dirty and things like that, to have some incredible moments outside of their suits. I think it speaks wonders not only to the idea of Simon Bennett thinking, you know what, maybe we should give the Rangers that face time that they need out of those civilian suits to truly shine. And I really do think that they did a fantastic job. I mean, some of the great I'm sure they had some stunt doubles in here from time to time, but the stunt doubles came through. One of the standout moments was Amelia versus Void Knight. I thought that was pretty badass to see her trying to take him on by herself and things like that. But again, just the effort that truly went into this final battle really went a long way. And you can clearly see the effort that everybody certainly made. So a shout out again to second unit director. And I think that's a lot to attribute to Simon Bennett, to putting the right pieces around him to make for some epic moments in this final, not only this final battle, but the entire season, honestly, all year round. So incredible stuff, man. And it's one of those things, again, I think, you know, sometimes we do get very caught up in the suits and the designs of things, and sometimes we forget the idea that suits do not make a ranger, you know. And I've talked about this before, you know, especially when I watch, whether that be Power Rangers or whether I watch Super Sentai, there is something very cool about the idea of seeing our rangers in terrible predicaments, with the inability to go ahead and tap into their powers, and have to face off against incredible odds and somebody that's incredibly more powerful than you, and really just utilizing not only just your training but your own will, you know. And I think it goes to go ahead and showcase just how incredible this cast of characters has been, how formidable they certainly are as Power Rangers, and how much they certainly have earned this particular moment for themselves. And for some reason, when I go back, one of the Super Sentai moments that continues to go with me is like the finale of Die Ranger, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's a team that really had no abilities whatsoever left to them. And it really just came down to them having to face off against the team. And I feel like we've seen that several times throughout Power Ranger history. But there's nothing like it, man. There's nothing like it to showcase that idea that suits do not make the Ranger. It's all about the person and what they stand for and what they're willing to fight for and how much they're willing to put themselves out there. And so I thought that was another great lesson in here, to just see what they were capable of on their own. So shout out to the cast, man, for everybody certainly coming through, bringing their A game when it comes to just performance wise, right, to help carry that intensity in here, whether that be Zato, whether that be Ali, whether that even be Dr. Akana, right? So shout out to Russell, shout out to Kai, and shout out to Siobhan for doing an incredible job. And again, building up a supporting character like Dr. Akana, to have her play such a huge and significant role in this episode truly blew me away. Like, I didn't even expect her to have that significant of a role, but she blew it out of the water for me, man. It's one of those things where, like, just the idea of seeing Dr. Akana coming into the command center and then seeing Solon for the very first time, right? And just what Siobhan's able to do with her performance in regards to just showing the awe and the unbelievability of it all just really makes you I feel kind of giddy for her a little bit. I think that, like, it's a really cool moment to see Dr. Akana experience all this for the first time. And then just to see the toughness and the balls on this lady to go ahead and really be fearless in the sense of being in front of danger, right? Agreeing to helping the Rangers out in time of need. The idea of standing up to freaking Void Knight with a big old stick or a big old branch from a tree, getting punched in the face, right? Getting back up, realizing the idea that it's her kid who is actually a Power Ranger, and even having some words talking about she's gonna obliterate everything that you love in your life if you hurt my child. Like what? Like that's the way a mom should certainly act when it comes to realizing that your kids are certainly in danger. But man, Dr. Arcana just really fucking impressed me in this episode. I mean, she has all season long, but the fact that I think that they gave Dr. Arcana such a significant role in here, I think really goes to showcase how great Siobhan is as Dr. Arcana, what she can really tap into emotion wise, and just really build off of what she certainly has all season long. So the Dr. Arcana stuff for me was honestly pretty gold, despite it being a rather risky plan that we wind up seeing in here. Doing her best to definitely foil Void Knight's plan. But I also got to give some shout outs to Ollie in here. There were moments of annoyance in Ollie that I had in this episode, though. But I appreciate the fact that he eventually does step up, because my annoyance with Ollie in this episode was the idea that it seemed like he hesitated so much in this episode, right? I don't even think that it even needed to come down to Dr. Arcana, because this was like plan B or like plan C of the entire plan that they initially had, right? So like the idea that, Ollie and Zato and Dr. Arcana get back to Dino Henge just in time, sort of thing. And they come up with the plan like, hey, I'm going to distract him. You get the capacitor, sort of thing, right? Like the entire time, Zato's playing around with the Void Knight. I mean, even though Void Knight captures him, Void Knight's got to drag him to the mechanism, put him in there, latch him up, sort of thing. And I'm like, Ollie, why aren't you fucking moving? Like, why aren't you going anywhere? And then like, oh, well, that plan's out of the window. What's plan B or C now, Ollie? It was just one of those things. Like, if you just moved when Void Knight was certainly distracted, we probably wouldn't have had to have come to this particular point in time. So there was a little bit of annoyance in regards to Ollie not pulling the trigger and doing what he needed to do. But there is also an understanding that I certainly have, in the sense that, like, look, I don't want to put my mom in danger, right? Like, she doesn't have the same powers or abilities that I certainly have to protect myself. I don't want to put her in danger, sort of thing. So like, even all the little flubs that he had in regards to hugging her, I love the cover up by Zato. Like, yeah, he's a bit of a hugger. I thought that was pretty funny. Getting the opportunity to see Ollie's like, I love you, your scientific mind, sort of. Like, I do get chuckles out of that stuff, but at the same time, I'm thinking, Ollie, move your ass. Like, let's help these Rangers out, man. Like, what are you doing with all the hesitating? But look, like, again, like I said, I get it when you've got your mom there, you got a lot of stuff on your mind at once. But they come up with a brilliant plan to go ahead and destroy the Dino Henge statues themselves, cutting off not only the power to the machine that Void Knight was certainly using, but unbeknownst to me and the rest of the crew, demorphing everybody and cutting off their ties to the morphing grid. Like, this is not how I planned Dr. Arcana to certainly discover that her son was Ollie, or that everybody was the Power Rangers. Like, little tidbits of in the beginning of the episode when Dr. Arcana's like, yeah, that's kind of how Ollie would actually describe himself, right? Like, he certainly gives hints in moments away that he certainly is the Blue Ranger, but this is definitely not how I thought it would certainly showcase itself. But I really dug it. I honestly dug it. I thought that was a really great surprise, really great embrace between father and daughter. Father and excuse me. Ugh, mother and son. So yeah, really great emotional moment between them. And then seeing Dr. Arcana truly step up and threaten the life of Void Knight, I thought was gold, honestly, when she realizes that that is in fact her son. So shout out to Kai for doing an incredible job, and then even getting the opportunity to lead the morph in this episode, after being worried about his mom being taken away into the dark dimension, and him being frantic about this was not part of the plan, right? Like, this is why I didn't want this plan to certainly happen, because Void Knight's so unpredictable. So I love the fact of seeing him sort of take the lead, his a change in attitude, sort of thing, and really doing his best in this episode also. So Dr. Arcana stood out. Ollie stood out. And these are all characters that were established very early on in the beginning of this particular season, and really seeing them get the opportunity to have a payoff. And it does make me wonder, as we go into season 2, will they still get the same type of shine, or will some other characters kind of be uplifted, right? I think maybe Amelia might take that next step. Still there's that theory out there of Amelia and Void Knight maybe being related in some way or another. We didn't really get any clues towards that by the finale of this one, but again, the cool Amelia versus Void Knight moments that we got in Civilian Fight, I thought was pretty awesome. So we'll see who else gets the opportunity to step up, because I think when you think back to like Beast Morphers, Ravi always had a really great presence all the way throughout. Some of the characters like Roxy, I feel like fell off after season 1. So it will be interesting to see who takes more of a step up in regards to the spotlight and attention of the main arc, certainly going forward. But I thought they did some brilliant work in here, and Zato even came through. Even though we had ourselves a really risky plan, I love the fact that Zato does what a Red Ranger so certainly do, right? When things don't go necessarily their way and they got to step up and save the life of somebody. I love the fact that he gives Ollie the reassurance, like, I got this. I'm going to go ahead and get your mom back. And he does. He absolutely does. And this does lead me to a great honorable mention for Mucus along with Slither in here. The fact that they get double crossed by Void Knight. The fact that he gives his monster, I'm assuming Void Knight is the one that came up with this plan of, hey, when we capture Dr. Arcana and we do our thing and we send her to the Dark Dimension, let's just send these two idiots there also, as we get to see not only them sent to the Dark Dimension with Dr. Arcana, but a returning Boom Tower. Like, I think I mentioned the idea, like, it wouldn't surprise me if he popped back up one more time, because I do think that he not only did he have in Real Soldier have a main role in the first half of the beginning of the season, but he did come back like two or three more times, sort of thing. So I do think this is the final aspect and final end to Boom Tower, to certainly say the least. But the Mucus and Slither stuff I thought was hilarious in regards to them getting double crossed, left in the Dark Dimension. And when we do have Zato jumping into there, I love the fact that they're like, hey, we need help. I can see that. And he just leaves them be. And I love the fact that Slither's like, and he calls himself a hero. I absolutely loved it. It was so smooth by Zato. Like, all right, good luck, guys. I'll see you later. But this does make me wonder, with Void Knight now out of the way, Santora still kind of chilling in her lab after that massive explosion that we wind up having. It does make me wonder what the adventures of Mucus and Slither is certainly going to be like. In Real Soldier, they definitely did take sort of the lead role in regards to one of the main villains, sort of thing, in regards to at least dishing out, new villain week after week after week, new monster, if you will. There's definitely still an overarching sort of main villain there, but Mucus and Slither felt like they kind of took a little bit of a step forward in regards to really handling a lot of the heavy lifting for majority of that season after Guy Sorg wind up being taken out, sort of thing. So this does make me wonder what Void Knight's plan is going to be going forward, right? I'm assuming that he's certainly still alive in some capacity or another. Still very curious about what the transformation for Santora is going to be. There's a part of me that's wondering, because of the fact that Void Knight mentioned a couple of episodes ago that he was holding on to that particular Sporix for, that had that ability to be able to swap out bodies. Since we didn't necessarily see that utilized in this particular episode, I do wonder if the gentleman that's under the Void Knight mask, if he's maybe somehow managed to swap out his body, or like put his body into something else, maybe sort of last minute, for all I know. I would be interested to see if that's something that's still going to come up, or if that plan's just been kiboshed now that his main plan has kind of been, literally blew up right in his face, sort of mentality. So Santora, I'm still assuming, if anything, probably has at least acquired some of the power that's been drawn into her. I can't imagine that all that's been just absolutely wasted. So I do expect some sort of transformation, whether that's going to be from Madame Noir to the Tokuger form, or if that's going to be the Precious form from Real Soldier as sort of one of the big main bads. going forward, we'll have to see. I don't really know which way I'm leading towards. I'm still thinking maybe Precious, but I can see either formation certainly happening for her at this particular point in time. And in regards to Void Knight, I know he's not dead because Simon Bennett himself said that if anything, season 2 will further explore the history maybe of Void Knight, or pick up where they kind of left off with him, sort of thing. So there's definitely more Void Knight to certainly happen. Now that he doesn't, I would assume maybe he doesn't have his armor or it's badly damaged. I'm kind of curious as to whether or not maybe he turns into that brown ranger from Real Soldier, or the bronze ranger, as I certainly like to call it, sort of thing. Or unless they're going to give that sort of costume to somebody else. It's only literally utilized in like one episode for a brief couple of minutes in Real Soldier. But if they have the suit for it, I would love to see them maybe utilize it in more screen time. Honestly, I truly would. Before we get into more, though, couple uh, cons. There's a ton of pros in this episode. A couple cons that at least did stand out to me. Didn't ruin the episode for me, but did stand out to me that I don't want to go ahead and tackle real quick and just get out of the way. I do wish that we got ourselves a full roll call in this episode. That was the only thing truly missing for me. It was a great morphine sequence. Certainly, don't get me wrong, and the pacing really kept this episode just continuing to go and go and go, sort of thing. So I get the idea of maybe not having the time. Maybe it would have kind of, took away from the pacing that they were trying to achieve. But I did miss out that I did feel like a full roll call probably would have been great, especially for a finale. Some of the special effects, at least in regards to seeing our Rangers in the Dark Dimension, the Zato stuff, the Zord stuff, cool background, but it didn't feel as clean as I might have wanted it to be. But again, it's really depending on what the budget of Dino Fury certainly is going to be. I mean, I guess with the budget that they have, maybe this is certainly the best that they definitely could have presented. So it did feel a little bit off to me. And especially when it comes to the Zord fight in the Dark Dimension, I do wonder if it's a sense that that's Super Sentai Zord footage, but just maybe superimposed onto like a new background, sort of thing. Don't get me wrong, there is definitely original Zord footage in there somewhere for sure. I definitely noticed it, but I do wonder if some of that is Super Sentai Zord battle footage and they just plastered it onto sort of a brand new background or so. I'm not quite sure. I would love to know the technicals of how they managed to kind of pull that off. And then last but not least, to kick off this episode, we get really intense right into the trying to figure out what Void Knight needs the capacitor for, what he needs the power for, sort of thing. And I love the idea of everybody giving serious thought to this, with the exception of Javi. Like the line that Javi gives, well, summer's coming. Maybe he needs it to run his AC unit. Like, really, bro? Like, we're in a fucking intense moment right now trying to figure out a plan. And that's the idea that you come up with. Really ruined sort of the pacing and intensity and how serious the situation was. Like, that's just not a time for jokes, like, at all. So while I'm usually a big fan of the dialogue when it comes to this show, that was one line that was just like, guys, really, that's the route we're gonna go with Hobby? Like, let him be the dumb bag of bricks all of a sudden? Like, oh, maybe he needs it for his AC. Really? Like, you really believe that, Hobby? You don't even really believe that, Hobby. So it was just a really terrible joke and just really terrible timing. Any other time, maybe not in the finale when it's life and death sort of situation. You know what I mean? So that's really the only cons that I had. Outside of that, I thought they handled this episode beautifully. That we got ourselves a T-Rex and Raptor Zord combination in here. The T-Rex Cosmic Megazord looks great. I don't know if I like it as much as I do the Mosa Razor and the Raptor combination. That was pretty badass, but this was actually pretty good too. Not too bad looking, honestly. And then, of course, last honorable mention, the Green Morphine Master returns. They've had an incredible presence all season long. I got to give them props for that. Appears and rebuilds Dino Henge for them, letting them know your mission is not over. There is certainly more to do. And considering the fact that we saw one of the Morphine Masters literally awaken Ion and let him know, like, hey, the Lord Zed's out there. We need your assistance in regards to taking them down. Lord Zed definitely feels like he's going to be a prominent role in season 2. There definitely is more for our Rangers to certainly do, and the fact that Zato even has answers or has questions and wants answers in regards to Rafcon and his people. I definitely still do. I still do expect the Rafcon and Zato and Ion past history and what happened with that planet to really be another big portion of season 2, honestly, also. So there's a lot of stuff cooking for season 2. Like if you thought season 1 had a lot that they were focusing on, they really are building up to really giving us some answers to a lot of the questions that we have going forward for season 2. But guys, man, impressive. Love the pacing, love the intensity, love the music attached to this, and great performances, especially by Russell, Ali, and Siobhan, who wind up playing Zato, Ali, or I said Ali, Kai, who wound up playing Ali, and Dr. Akana also in this, man. Everybody really shined and really brought their A game. And again, second unit directors with the amazing civilian battle at the end to wrap up the final battle between them and Void Knight. No better way to prove that the suits do not make the Rangers. And I love just seeing them really step up their A game and dish out that punishment themselves. So great stuff, man. Emotional, made me laugh. Epic on all levels. Truly, and I mean this no joke, gave me goosebumps at least 2 or 3 times throughout this episode. So yeah, man, I cannot wait for season 2. So kudos to Simon Bennett, the writers, and the entire cast and crew for stellar season 1, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with season 2. And it makes me even wonder, like, how much better can they make this season, right? Like, there are some episodes in here that I found solid, good, enjoyable, right? And there are some that were just like floored me, incredible stuff, sort of thing. So there definitely is some room for improvement, certainly going forward. And I feel like for the most part, Jane and Jay Borg have been kind of non-existent as of late, right? People talk about, there are some people that maybe don't like the idea of the comedy duo so much. Some probably do like Jane and Jay Borg. Some probably think maybe they're a little bit too much. Kudos for the handling of those two characters, of knowing when too much is too much. And when you do need to kind of get serious, allowing those characters to kind of take a step back and really allow other characters to come to the forefront that you truly need for that epicness and that build up towards a season finale sort of thing. So I think it's really great understanding of how to tell your story and get the most out of all your characters. And I think they did incredible job. So that's my review, guys, for the season finale, episode number 21 of Void Trap. Let us know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below after this particular video airs. And with that, guys, let's jump into the discussion time. Let's see what some of you guys are saying today in regards to this episode. Campbell Cooley's in here. What's up, Campbell? Good to see you, man. I'm so sorry I haven't been able to get back to you. It's been crazy around here, as you know, with the newborn and stuff. But it's so good to see you in here, Campbell. Thank you very much. And he says, I laughed when I recorded the double cross. I bet you did, man. I bet you did. I absolutely loved it. The Zato leaving you guys hanging, though, man. Hopefully you'll get you guys' revenge in season 2 in some manner whatsoever. I'm looking forward to it, Campbell. Let's see here. Let's dive into some of your guys' comments and thoughts. JB says, what? Says, I love Dr. Akana, but you never thought, damn, these Ranger voices sound hella familiar. Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. Sometimes you want to, sometimes I still think it would be cool to have like little digital synthesizers inside the helmet to kind of throw off the voices just a little bit, sort of thing. I do feel like at least in this episode, when it comes to Ali, he didn't have so much bass this time around. Hi, Dr. Arcana. Like, at least he drew it back in a little bit, which was a little bit more appreciative. But yeah, I get what you're saying. AJ says, I love the Egyptian themed kind of music at the end after the Rangers got freed from the machine and Dr. Akana hugging Ollie. Yeah, man, Bert Selling did an incredible job tapping into just different tones, really just drawing the best out of those particular moments that we wind up getting. What's up, Jesse? Appreciate you coming through today and spending some time with us today. Byron says, "Would you give this a season overall?" Um, what do I give this season overall if I had to grade it? You guys know around here when it comes to grading, I usually like to give letter grades, like a report card sort of mentality. Um, I'm jumping right now between a B plus and an A minus. And if you think about that, when that comes to like score wise, right? Like back in school, A minus was like low 90s, right? Like maybe like a 90 to 94. B plus is like an 87 to a 90 or something like that. So to be fair, yeah, because again, like I said before, there were some episodes in here that were good, enjoyable, solid. Probably more of those than episodes that were like all out epic, you know what I'm saying? So I do think that there are levels of improvement that can definitely be into this season for sure. So if I maybe I'll have to watch it one more time. Off the top of my head right now, I'm leaning between B plus and an A minus, and I don't think anything's wrong with that. I'll rewatch season one, and I'll probably give it an all around grade then. But just right off the top of my head, that's probably where I have it right now. Adam, he says, Dr. Akana officially working with the Rangers since episode 19. Do you see her doing other things in season two that's more granular, being besides being an archaeologist? I think I would like to see her more involved with the Rangers now. With her being introduced to the command center, with her love for Solon now, I would like to see her in the command center a little bit more, maybe helping out Solon with some things, maybe helping create brand new technology, right? I mean, not to say that she still can't do her archaeologist thing, but I do think that it would be pretty cool. She knows who the Rangers are now, right? I mean, if she wants to still do her archaeology thing, that's cool. But I would like to see her more in the command center from time to time. She doesn't have to be cramped in there sort of every episode like Kendall, or anything like that. But sprinkling in from time to time to help out, maybe create new tech or help out Solon with something, I think would really go a long way. So I do see her being more involved with the Rangers going forward. Byron says he gives it a B minus to a C. I can understand that, Byron. I can definitely understand that. To each their own, sir. I really enjoyed it. So for me, it wasn't a perfect season. That's why I'm not giving it an A plus. I definitely thoroughly enjoyed it. So again, I think that's why I'm sitting on a B plus. A minus right now. Passing grade, something that's very enjoyable. Great work, guys. You know what I'm saying? Continue to do your thing. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at right now. Adam also says, I love that episode 20 of the Ravcon Rangers. They were nightmare versions. Helps prevent Zordon's too much pink energy is dangerous continuity. Yeah, I get what you're saying there. That's pretty good. JB says, what? Says season one was good, but I still have a few questions that I hope we get answers to. And I think we will, JB, for sure. I'm kind of curious as to what some of those questions that you certainly have are. And they may be some of the same questions that Emilio or even Zato or Ion certainly have for themselves also. Marcelino says, I really would like to see the Rangers' reactions of almost killing Santora. And why is the Green Morphing Master more important than the others? Hopefully, we get it in season two. Yeah, maybe there's some reasoning behind Green Morphing Master maybe popping up a little bit more. I am curious if there's a reason for that, or if they've just decided, hey, we're just going to use this Morphing Master majority of the time. There was a part of me, the idea is I really like to see the Rangers' reactions of almost killing Santora. I would like. There was a part of me that was kind of hoping Void Knight would do the villain thing and like explain his entire plan to the Rangers, right? And what he was trying to do. Because I think the idea when you look at Void Knight and his storyline of trying to save somebody that he loves, I think the idea of if the Rangers knew that, what he was trying to achieve, what this person maybe meant to them, right? I would have been curious to see if it would have brought up some type of dilemma for our Rangers. Is this what we should be doing? Should we be trying to kill this woman that he's trying to bring back that he clearly has an attachment to? I would have liked to have seen that information be brought to the Rangers' attentions to see if they would have changed their mind and how they handled this finale. Because it feels very much like they just continue to look at Void Knight as the villain, and whatever project he's working on has got to be bad, right? But if you know it's somebody that somebody loves, maybe there's alternates. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's another way of handling the situation. So yeah, I would have liked to have seen their reaction. Marcelino's says this is Void Knight's second fight after the pilot episode. And it did make me a little frustrated with Zato in the sense like, bro, why are you going to throw this Dino dagger at him, right? Like you missed the first time in episode one. You thought the same move was going to work again in the second one. And Void Knight still moves out of the way and takes advantage of Zato. So I would have really have loved a Zato facing Void Knight moment. I'm really bummed that we didn't necessarily get that. I thought we were going to get to that point, but then when he turns it to a dagger and he throws it again, and that fight is over like in a heartbeat, I really would have gone for a very epic sort of battle. So like when Zato's like, I'll distract them sort of thing, that's exactly what I thought we were going to get, was going to be an all-out fight between these two, while Ollie certainly did his thing. But they didn't go that route. Makes me wonder, did we miss out on an opportunity to have that battle, or will that battle ensue again in season two if Void Knight certainly does return, and what he returns as? We should certainly see. Doomsday says, I love me a good civilian fight scene. Me too, man. Me too. There's nothing better than getting the opportunity to see the cast truly shine. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. Love the stunt actors, love what the suit actors certainly doing things like that. But when you actually are able to see the faces of these characters put in that work, all their hard work, whether I'm sure they had to do their own sort of levels of training to get up to speed in regards to these civilian fights. So I do love me a good civilian fight also. Speaking of which, Jordan says a civilian fight in their suits with their helmets off would be amazing for season two. That would be pretty cool also, to kind of see them in the suit but without the helmet. That would have been pretty cool. Video DVD says, what a finale. I know I always say this, but can't praise Burt Selling and his music enough. One of the best soundtracks of the franchise in recent years. I hope he keeps working for future seasons. Me too. I truly do. And I don't know if they have a Dino Fury soundtrack, but if they have a Dino Fury soundtrack, I definitely would be willing to pick it up, because yeah, Burt Selling really helped really helped carry the emotion in this episode for sure. JB says, I think Zeta was a bit hasty in wanting to include Dr. Arcana. Yeah, so did Ali. Ali thought it was a bad idea also. I can understand why. Like, I wouldn't want to include my mom either. But yeah, the plan definitely did not go accordingly. Power Rangers Legacy, what's up, man? Thank you for coming through. He says, stock footage in Beast Morphers for the villain clip show to get Goldar back. We get bad dubbing like in Beast Morphers. I believe that's because they need to hide the background music to avoid copyright. I mean, you're probably right. You're probably right, but I still don't think that excludes the idea of getting bad dubbing. Like, if you've got to get dubbing for it, and you've got to get dubbing for it, get some better voice actors, or at least, if not better voice actors, then at least have them execute their voices a little bit differently than what we got, right? So I get the idea of why having to do it, but maybe a little bit more effort should certainly have been put through it. But that's just my thought. What's up, Izzy? Good to see you in here. Thank you very much. Blossom says the battle was epic. I totally agree with you, man. And I will say this too. I think the idea of Dr. Akana getting involved too, taking that big branch, breaking it, getting punched in the face. Fuck you, Void Knight, for doing that. Getting punched in the face, and then coming back with the dagger and just doing her part too to kind of help out. And then I love the shot of seeing Void Knight panic and then like literally climb up the freaking the column of his technology that he had and try and fixing things. Ran up there like a freaking monkey, man. But I loved it. I absolutely loved the intensity it brought this week. What's up, Adrian? Appreciate you coming through. Happy holidays, everyone. What a phenomenal finale. Yeah, man, they knocked it out of the park. They did an incredible job with this for sure. Blossom says Ollie was on his game, so was his mom. Definitely. What a great mother and son combo we had for this season. I really impressed with both of them. Izzy says, "Yeah, this cast is amazing. They definitely brought it, man. I'm really impressed. I would love to ask them just how the finale panned out for them. Like how like what was the physical toll on them? How long did that certainly take? And like what was their reaction when they finally saw the final outcome? Right, like when it was finally all put together and things like that. What their thoughts on how it was? I got to think that's got to be mind blowing to see." Again, you out of ranger suits using their weapons and still kicking that ass. It just goes to show that Zato training definitely did go a long way and establishing that very early on in the season. So when we get to this moment, it's pretty believable, right? That they're in civilian mode, that they can really handle themselves in this particular moment. So again, just really great storytelling. Really great storytelling. Dr. Jordan says Dr. Arcana terrified Void Knight when she found out about Ollie. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. If Void Knight wasn't shaking in his boots as at the fury of of a mother, yeah, man. I'll come back and I don't know what she said. Something about she's gonna like destroy everybody you love and care for, or some shit like that. Like, damn, Dr. Arcana. Yeah, man. She brought her A game. Brought her A game. Blossom says, so far, Ollie's not the only one who's got a parent to know his secret no more. Katie, oh, in your Tokuger fan fiction. That's pretty cool. Let's see here. Emmanuel says, like Ollie was fighting better than Zato in the civilian fights. His flips were crazy. Yeah, there was a great shot of Ollie as he like bounces off of a tree, jumps into a backflip, and the moment he lands, boom, right into a front flip, and then a roll as he grabs the henchman's leg and turns them over. Fucking smooth, man. Freaking smooth. And even seeing Zato as he's on the ground, he pops up and then pops into a front flip. Cool stuff, man. Second unit directors killed it. I'm telling you, that's why I had to give them shout outs in this episode. Second unit directors killed it for the civilian fight sequence in here. There's even a fight sequence when they're in when Ollie and the rest of the gang are trying to face off against Boom Tower early on, and you know they all morph and then they charge into Boom Tower and his men. I love the shot of Izzy jumping off the rock and like onto Homeboy's shoulders as she like starts slashing other people down. I thought that was pretty funny also. But yeah, man, great season and great fight choreography for sure. Adrian says, please clarify. So the planet we saw in episode 20 was not Rafcon. No. Dang it, I don't have the name of it. It was like Nebulor or something like that. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I'm probably just butchered the name. But no, that was not Rafcon. He says, if so, the Raptor Zords being lost were very similar to the Lost Zords in Lost Galaxy and in space with the Delta Mega ship. That's a good point. But yeah, there definitely was not Rafcon. I think the idea was that it they had the battle on Rafcon, the explosion thrusted the Raptors and probably other Zords to different parts of the galaxy. Giving some love to Campbell Cooley in here. Yeah, always great to have Campbell around for sure. Tilla says the Adventures of Mucus and Slather sound like a TV show. Absolutely. Like I would listen. I would be look. The one thing, and maybe a little quick side note. The one thing that I love about Toei Company is that they have no problem in being creative and doing little spin-offs from here and there, right? I mean, look, we had the four-part miniseries Super Sentai Strongest Battle. We had the Real Soldier two-part little mini episodes with like the Master's Soul or something like that. We had Yodana that just had a two-part special herself sort of thing. I love the creativity and the idea that they know that they have established characters that people know and love, and they still manage to find really cool creative ways to allow them to shine and have little moments of their own. I there's a part of me that wishes Hasbro really took note of stuff like that, because with as much fanfare that Mucus and Slither have certainly been getting, and you've got incredible voice actors like Campbell, and I cannot remember the lady's name that does the voice of Mucus, who I've been freaking loving all season long. Just being able to capture the love and the heart and just the hilarity from Crayon from Real Soldier into Mucus. She's doing an incredible job. Maybe not necessarily a TV series, but can I get a web series? Can I get like a little mini series, a little four-parter, hell, maybe even just like a two-parter or something like that, of just their adventures or what they're up to, or just like antics that they certainly get into, just to have more content of them out there outside of what we know of Dino Fury, right? I mean, look, Power Rangers and Hasbro have their own YouTube channel. I think it would be pretty cool to just have like a one or two or four-part little limited series, The Adventures of Mucus and Slither. I would definitely watch it, Datilla. I definitely would. Byron says, "What if Santora turns into Eris?" Definitely a possibility. Definitely a possibility. Um, I, Certainly a possibility. I mean, Precious, that character from Real Soldier certainly could be utilized in other ways, right? Because even Precious wasn't the main villain of Real Soldier; it was Eris. So Santora could be just brewing inside of this chemical vat. Just waiting to be born again as the main big bad. It definitely could be a possibility, Byron, for sure. See, even Campbell Cooley agrees. Great idea, Tilla. Someone needs to make it happen. Yes, come on, get Hasbro on the phone immediately. Just give me a quick little limited series or something like that. I would absolutely love to see what they get into. Adam, he says, just time, but I hope Santora doesn't turn into Precious or Madame Noir. I want to see the actress on screen then by voice. I get what you're saying, or have her change to human looking self in episodes. That would be pretty cool too. Finally, give Santora some opportunity to shine, some face time instead of all of a sudden turning into a monster. So I definitely understand your point of view, Adam. AJ says Adam is obsessed with roll calls since episode 16. I love me a great roll call. I think there's something really epic about it, especially if it's utilized all at the right time. I really do. Izzy saying the Morphing Master's putting in work this season. Yeah, definitely is. Byron gives this episode a 4.5, 2 of 5. So yeah, pretty perfect to that point. Edward Sanchez Productions, he says the Unmorph fight was my favorite part of the season finale. It was definitely mine too, man. It was that and all the Dr. Arcana stuff. I thought the Dr. Arcana and Ollie stuff was great. So those were my two. And again, just the idea of saying Dr. Arcana was one of my great moments in the Dino Fury season 1 finale. I think again that just speaks volumes in regards to the amazing work that Siobhan does, and I also do think just the amazing work that Simon Bennett and the writers put into even building up their Dr. Arcana and Ollie characters to where they are by the season finale, and really utilizing and handling them in such a correct way. But yeah, the Unmorph fight sequence was probably my favorite part of this episode for sure. Jared, what's up, Jared? Good to see you in here. The finale of season Dino Fury was great. Seeing the Morphine Master comes back and gives the Rangers their powers back. Yeah, it was one of those things. The dilemma. I was kind of curious as to, okay, they don't have their abilities. Like for me, it probably would have been pretty cool to kind of see if they didn't have their abilities. And then the credits wind up rolling, right? Really opening up the idea of how do they get their abilities back by the time that we get to season two. But it was pretty cool to kind of see the Green Morphing Master come back, give them their link to the morphing grid and abilities, and then even cooler to see the team get right back into business. Like they didn't even miss a step whatsoever. There's still sporks out there, still monster to defeat. We got no time to relax. Let's go save the world. And then just that epic sort of shot, that pose that you get at the very end, man. Chills. It gave me chills. It did. It gave me chills. Doomsday gives Dino Fury an A plus. Thrilled that you loved it that much, man. Thrilled that you loved it that much. Doomsday says I gave it an A plus specifically for all the first that it had. Definitely a unique season. Definitely a unique season in and of itself. Jordan says I've grown tired of the dagger throw. I can understand that. I can understand that. I would love to see them utilize it in other ways too. What's up, Common Rider? Thank you very much for certainly coming through today. Who else we got in here? We got Sam. Thank you very much, Sam, for certainly coming through. He says, I love the final episode, was amazing as ever. And hopefully we might get a trailer for season two on New Year's. Yeah, I don't know how soon we're going to get one. It would be pretty cool. I'm assuming Netflix, if anything, will probably give us a trailer maybe even more ahead of time than Nickelodeon usually does. So I am excited to see what is brewing for season two. We got Thomas in the house. Thank you very much, Thomas, for certainly coming through also. Who else we got? We got I Will One in here. Thank you. He says Blue Ranger has the best mom in the franchise. The actress performed better than she should have. I mean, Siobhan's no slouch, man, when it comes to just her acting career. I believe she's been a part of Power Rangers in the past too, so I think she definitely knows how to bring it. But I want to say, if anything, she definitely has a career prior to that also. So years of experience, man, definitely. And being able to, again, I think bring that awe and surprise and shock and emotion. I mean, she was definitely going through all the emotions in this episode for sure. So incredible work by Siobhan as Dr. Arcana. Definitely one of the MVPs this season. All right, guys. Um, All right. Other than that, I think that will probably do it in regards to our Dino Fury discussion, ladies and gentlemen. But don't worry, when it comes to season two, once Dino Fury winds up dropping, we definitely will go ahead and highlight it for you guys here and continue to have our reviews. Will be interesting to see what the release format going forward for Power Rangers on Netflix will certainly be. Again, they definitely have, you know, explored the options of dropping full seasons at once. They've also been known to do uh, uh, two parts to a season throughout the year, and they've been definitely experimenting with the weekly episodes also going forward too. So it should be interesting to see what format Power Rangers Dino Fury season 2 definitely takes. But regardless of what the format is, we definitely will continue to do reviews for you guys when it comes to season 2. So thank you very much, guys, for certainly joining us and giving your thoughts on this particular season. Stellar job, guys. Stellar job. So let's give a round of applause for cast and crew, Simon Bennett, the writers, everybody from Russell to Hunter to Kai to Chance to Tessa to Jordan. Thank you, man, for putting in that hard work this year, for sure. Like, it really did go a long way. And if anything, truly reignited the Power Ranger fan base unlike anything other. So I'm really excited to see what else they have in store. All right, guys. And with that out of the way, we will be getting into our next topic. As Hasbro PulseCon was, in fact, this, well, not Hasbro PulseCon, but Hasbro Pulse had a fan first Friday this past Friday, guys, as they got to dive into some Boom Studios talk. Along with the reveal of Zap, in other words, the Zord Ascension project. And I got to be honest, this is a fan first Friday that I pretty much forgot all about. It was a rather busy Friday for myself. I remember going onto Twitter and seeing a bunch of pictures of the Zords, seeing a bunch of information that wind up dropping. But I did go ahead and actually go back to Hasbro's YouTube page and watch the hour-long presentation for myself. So I definitely did go ahead and get as much information as I possibly could in regards to this. Hold on one second, guys. I will say this. Ever since they announced this Zord Ascension project over at Hasbro PulseCon, I've been really fascinated to kind of see what this was going to be about. They did mention the idea that they were eventually going to reveal it. They also did go ahead and have an exclusive to this particular Zord in the form of an NFT. I think this Zord actually came in black and gold. I'm assuming maybe they sold out of that too. I don't really know how Hasbro did with the NFT that they wind up having, but this one is the original, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys did not have the opportunity to check out what this Zord looks like, let me present it to you guys. This thing is massive. It looks incredible. You can even see the little Power Ranger figures at the very bottom also. Each of these Zords do come apart. They do have their own individual Zords. They even have cockpits that showcase little mini Rangers inside of their cockpits as well. So you got them in the individual form. This bad boy will even turn into its tank formation also. And then, of course, the big Megazord itself. It says Hasbro's Power Rangers Zord Ascension project is officially a go today with the launch of the Zap Megazord pre-orders, coming in at $165. The 1 to 144 scale transforming mech aims to take the Power Ranger collectible offerings to a new level. The team will have more details and full coverage of the live stream later on, but for now, hit our spawn, yada, yada, yada. There are pre-orders. If you want to pre-order it, I believe that Hasbro Pulse a website might be sold out as of right now. But there's also, you can go to GameStop to try and pre-order it. Entertainment Earth is also another website, along with Big Bad Toy Store is another selection at another place you can go ahead and find for yourself. The description for it says the crackle of unreleased energy, the smell of ozone, the feeling that something big is about to happen when you know you're in the calm before the storm. Welcome to the Zord Ascension project, the next evolution of Lightning Collection. We're bringing our expertise in giant robots and experience with some awesome collector figures into this never been done before expression of some of the most iconic robots to ever grace the screen. It says this Lightning Collection Zord Ascension Dino Megazord is a premium collectible figure made with an incredible attention to detail and the love of true fans of Sentai, Power Rangers, and awesome giant robots, featuring 5 individual Zord figures that can combine and form the Dino Megazord in both tank and battle modes. And then, yes, this figure is truly more phenomenal addition to any fan shelf. It says, each Zord is designed with attention to that original concept art detail. Has a removable faceplate, showcases the cockpit of the Megazord with a sculpted Rangers inside. It says incredible detailing, incredible translucent pieces, and specialized paint techniques that highlight the details of the Zord. A Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is based on a Japanese Sentai series called Zoo Ranger, and these figures are based on the original concept art of that. So they're not even necessarily going back to Mighty Morphin. I mean, they're looking at the original concept art for the Super Sentai series itself for this Megazord and designing it based off of that. So incredible stuff, guys. Again, $169 if you ask me, just looking at the photos and seeing how it was presented, well worth the money. They're certainly still working on it. This is the actual box art for it as well. I didn't get a picture of the backing of it, but yeah, guys. Again, if you want to go ahead and pre-order it, it is available. $165, excuse me. It is available. Check it out again, either on the Hasbro Pulse website, GameStop website, Entertainment Earth website, and Big Bad Toy Store website also. See if they're still available. I will be honest, I mentioned to you guys before, I'm not a big I'm not a big action figure collector. There are some pieces that I definitely would love to have for myself. I am in the process of maybe even picking up like an Ultraman Trigger SH Figuarts, even thinking about doing the Zenkaiser SH Figuarts for myself also. This is something I truly want, though. This is something I truly want. One, because I think it would be an incredible just showcase piece, but I love big robots. I used to have, growing up as a kid, I used to have a Voltron set. Reminded me very much of this Megazord set. 5 pieces that you can literally utilize individuals, their own lions, and then connect them into one gigantic Voltron force, if you will. And those things were like cast iron. I mean, those things were like, I don't even know what type of metal that they did, but you can hurt somebody pretty badly with it. It was like hitting somebody with a fucking brick. Like each of those individual lines were no joke. So I am kind of hoping that with this Zord, there is a little bit of weight to it, a little bit of heftiness to it, not just plastic sort of thing, but I'm hoping that there is a little bit of heftiness to it. But the attention to detail from this thing looks incredible. If for me, I do want to pre-order it. I'm probably going to have to wait till my next paycheck though, to go ahead and do so, which is going to be next Friday. And there is a worry of mine that by the time I get to paying for it or getting to order it next Friday, that they may not even be available anymore. I don't know how many of these that they're actually producing, but I got to tell you, man, I'm a sucker for Zords, and there's nothing better that if I'm going to own a Zord or a giant robot of anything, going back to nostalgia land and having the original Dino Megazord from MMPR on my back shelf to go ahead and showcase, I need it. I need it in my life. I need it in my life. This is something that I value. Like I can honestly see them if they wanted to ask people to pay $200 for this. I think people probably would have paid a 199 for sure. And in my background, I do have like the Ultra Megazord. I don't remember the name of the damn thing, but this is just a pop figure. I want an actual Megazord back there. So I this is something I will invest my money in if come next Friday pre-orders are still available somewhere on all of those sites that I mentioned to you. Adam will be purchasing one. It's official. I will be purchasing one. This is definitely a concept to a Lightning collection that I can honestly get behind, especially if it's paying that close attention to detail. Again, watching the live stream really opened my eyes to show how much care and attention they're truly kind of giving this project, and really seem like they are ready to embrace this. And I'm expecting a ton of other Zords to come after this as well. So maybe the Dino Megazord's not up your alley. It would not surprise me whatsoever if we did not get other just other Zords in the future, whether that be from in space, whether that be from Turbo or Z01, who certainly knows. But I am expecting this Zap or the Zord Ascension project to be a hit, guys. So yeah, if you did not get the opportunity to check it out, please check it out for yourself. $165 available for pre-order right now over at GameStop, Entertainment Earth, and Big Bad Toy Store. So go ahead and check that out, guys. But listen, When it comes to the Fan First Friday, that's not all that they talked about. Oh, no, 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 no. We wind up actually getting ourselves a Boom Studios panel as they talked with Daphne, Ryan, and Nicole. Excuse me. We got these goddamn dogs just barking while I'm trying to do my live show, man. Um, Always hear them in the background. But when it comes to Boom Studios, they did not disappoint whatsoever. The first half of this panel really focused on Ryan Parrott and Daphne talking about the upcoming Altarian War, or maybe not even upcoming, but being in this shit already, ladies and gentlemen. So I am looking forward to seeing. I definitely do have to keep up with the comic books, guys. Like, there's so much stuff that's been going on these days when it comes to the comics that I have absolutely no idea what's going on anymore. Like, something was actually spoiled for me already in this particular panel. I didn't mind it. That's on me because I haven't been caught up whatsoever. But the spoiler that I got made me want to go ahead and try and catch up as best as I possibly could. But the future looks bright. I cannot lie when it comes to Boom Studios and all the stuff that they have up their sleeve, because they gave a huge portion of this Boom Studios panel to focusing on Power Rangers Universe. That's right, the brand new upcoming series from Boom Studios, as issue number 1 is set to go ahead and hit newsstands this month, ladies and gentlemen. So we wind up getting ourselves our very first look into Power Rangers Universe. And with that, a brand new team, ladies and gentlemen. They wind up showing some brand new concept art here for our brand new team. And listen to this. These are the Morphing Masters, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. The Morphing Masters that we've been seeing from Dino Fury, even included in the Power Ranger comic books for quite some time. They are technically tapping into the origin stories of the Morphing Masters. And these Morphing Masters as teenagers. Daphne and them did explain the idea that when it comes to these Morphing Masters here as teenagers, their parents are working on studying the morphing grid. Apparently, it's the idea that the morphing grid right now is simply just sort of in this time period, just simply a theory, nothing necessarily tangible. And then you have a very familiar face in here, a gentleman that we've all known as the Phantom Ranger, but this time in white. I believe his name now is Morphonaut, if I'm not mistaken. He continues to play a very integral role for this particular series also. I think this series is going to go ahead and kind of build upon the mystery that is the origin story for the Phantom Ranger. So if you are interested in learning more about him, his beginnings and things like this is where you certainly will start off at in Power Rangers Universe. The idea for him is that he wants to prove that the morphing grid is not just a theory, but an actual place that you can visit. And upon visiting that, shit goes down, ladies and gentlemen. They even went ahead and showcased to us some brand new visuals here from the very first issue. As you can see, the Morphonaut right now going through one of those portals, and then of course bumping into a very familiar face immediately, and shit kind of hits the fan for Morphonaut, or aka the Phantom Ranger, ladies and gentlemen. And somehow we get to see, I don't know exactly how we're going to get to that particular point in time. Here's some more concept art for you guys, but at some particular point in time, these Morphing Master teens that we're going to get the opportunity to learn a little bit more about how they go from being teenagers that get thrusted into sort of this predicament of exploring the morphing grid, how they go from this to the Morphing Masters that we currently know as of today. So I think that's pretty cool, man. Leaving it up to Boom Studios to really continue to build on the lore of Power Rangers. I mean, if you guys are not reading Power Rangers comics, I know I fell off maybe about 6-7 months ago or so. It is something that I definitely want to get back into, which is not because I haven't enjoyed the story, just time and money, man. Comic books tend to be really expensive these days. But it is something I want to go ahead and get back into, because what I love about what Boom Studios does is they continue to build the lore of Power Rangers. You know, while this may not necessarily be, I don't know if people want to look at this as canonical or not, right? every bit matters. And I feel like Ryan Parrott and the writers of Boom Studios are doing such an incredible job of keeping Power Rangers alive, keeping it interesting, doing brand new and unique things with characters that we know and love, and truly building upon some of the questions and things about their life and past, or even the future of their lives that I think we all certainly want to go ahead and learn a little bit more about. And if you ask me, just get an opportunity to watch Dino Fury and seeing what they've been doing with the Morphing Masters and stuff, it almost feels like the TV side and the comic book side are kind of building off of each other. I don't necessarily know if they're in communications whatsoever, but it feels like maybe they are seeing what each other's doing and maybe want to add their own bit of creativity and lore to a lot of these characters. So I think they're doing great work, guys. And I think if you are interested, or even if you've had your doubts about how Boom Studios, oh, but it doesn't necessarily line up with the television show, I think they've branched off at this point, sort of into their own thing. And I really have to appreciate the effort and the attention to detail that they're certainly taking, guys. They've been doing some great work, and it looks like Power Ranger Universe is going to tap into that even more. Here's another close up of this Morphing Masters team. Again, their parents, I believe, are the ones that are studying the morphing grid, and they somehow managed to get themselves involved and thrusted into the morphing grid. And clearly, changes certainly happen over time. Now, I will say this in regards to especially the concept designs, what they certainly look like so far. There was an article that just dropped this past weekend from, or this past week from the Illuminati, highlighting that the Power Ranger comic books were going to be adapting none other than Die Ranger, one of the suits that was never really used in the Power Ranger series itself. I believe, I can't remember if they utilized them, or at least maybe one of them in like the I mean, outside of the White Ranger, I can't remember if they used them in Super Mega Force at all, in like one of the transformations or not. I can't remember off the top of my head. But people are looking at the Die Rangers. You can see some of the circles and stuff, saying that they probably are using some of the concepts from the Die Ranger costume and implementing them into the Morphing Masters costumes also. I mean, you can kind of see some of the designs in the gold, some of the gold trimming and things like that. I am kind of curious about the chest plates, though. They are a little bit difficult to see. I am wondering if the chest plates um, are in accordance with maybe the helmet designs for some of the Die Rangers that we've seen. I definitely need to kind of get a much clearer picture to kind of see, but you again, you can see some of the elements of Die Ranger. It doesn't feel like it's um fully from there, but they definitely feel like they definitely have taken concepts and ideas from the Die Ranger to go ahead and create the Morphing Master costumes in this. So should be interesting to see how this evolves. It really should be. We don't really know too much about the characters, their personalities, and things like that. What alien race that they certainly might be. But I am interested to go ahead and dive into the story and see exactly how, yeah, the Morphing Masters became who we have known them to be. And so kudos to just the Boom Studios cast and even Simon Bennett and the writing cast for Dino Fury for even utilizing these characters and allowing them to really have such a big um, impact, I guess you can say, on Power Rangers as we continue to learn more and more about them. So really exciting stuff. We did get ourselves, let me see if I can go ahead and pull this up, because we did get ourselves, Boom Studios did release a I want to say they released a quick synopsis. It says, what is the origin of the Phantom Ranger and what is his connection to the morphing grid? From the moment he first appeared 24 years ago, fans have wondered about the origins of the powerful and mysterious Phantom Ranger and how they tie into the greater Power Ranger universe. There are questions which have never been answered until now in a game-changing series event that no Power Ranger fan can afford to miss. It says Power Ranger Universe issue number 1 will be available December 29th. December 29th. So coming in just at the end of the year to go ahead and kick off this brand new year, ladies and gentlemen. So check it out. If you guys have not had the opportunity to do so, please go ahead and check it out. Let me see what some of you guys are saying in here in regards to this. Who else do we wind up having in here? I know we got some new faces for sure. Oh, going back to the um the first part of the Hasbro Fan First Friday, the the Zord Ascension project. Datilla says she ordered hers already on GameStop. When it comes through, Datilla, I gotta see it. You gotta show a picture of it for sure. Jordan says it's so nice. I'll probably never get one though. Understandable, understandable. It has a hefty price tag. JB says, "What says it looks super cool." Yeah, the design alone and attention to detail is pretty ridiculous, honestly. Side question that Tilla says, do you have wrestling championship belts, Adam? I don't know. They are rather expensive. There are a couple that I definitely want. Like I would love the classic WCW championship, the big old gold one that they eventually acquired for WWE as a championship belt. I would love to have that one. There's also a current one of the WWE championships, I believe maybe in the early 2000s. I remember Brock Lesnar holding it, Kurt Angle holding it. I've always wanted one of those. And I wouldn't mind an IC belt, a classic IC belt, and maybe an ECW championship belt, or at least maybe the ECW television championship belt. Those are some of the ones that I definitely would love to have. Even the NXT one. Give me the NXT championship belt too. That's pretty cool too. Let's see here. Emmanuel says these Zords look great, but forgot the Dino Megazord. There are way too many versions. Hasbro, please do other MMP Zords still making money. Oh, I'm sure they will. I think this project is designed to solely focus on that. So yeah, I think they got you covered, man. What's up, Mikey? Good to see you in here, Mikey. Thank you very much for certainly coming through. Usai, what's up, Usai? Certainly good to see you in here also, man. Thank you very much for spending your weekend with us. Emmanuel says the Morphing Masters look dope. Hope we get figures of their forms in the show. That would be pretty cool. If the Boom Studios is creating like actual human forms for them, what they look like as teenagers too, right? It would be pretty cool to kind of see. I think they even talked about that idea too, right? To kind of see where the Morphing Masters started their career as, similar to how like MMPR in regards to just starting off a brand new team and seeing how they kind of get thrusted into things. I think it's pretty cool. Marcelino says, "Are these the same Morphing Masters from Dino Fury? If so, that's great and interesting that they swap yellow for gold." Yeah, I believe they are the same people from Dino Fury. Usai says Boom Studios proves that this series could definitely work in an animated form. I totally agree with you, Usai. I totally agree with you. There's a lot of people out there that are really hesitant about the idea of Power Rangers in animation form, like a lot of pushback. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, what type of animation you guys think we're talking about here, right? Like the idea and the possibilities that you can do when it comes to animation and Power Rangers is endless. There's the stories that you can tap into that you can't do in live action, but you can do for on cheap, if you will, but clearly with good effort behind the animation. But I agree with you, Usai. Like stories like this, I would love to see stories like this told in animation form. And I'm hoping that Hasbro's creative enough to understand that and really have some fun with it when it comes to animation. Give me a Morphing Masters movie, animated film. I would absolutely take that. Doomsday, thank you for the reminder. He says the Die Ranger suits were actually used in Super Mega Force as a legendary squadron mode. I couldn't remember if they utilized them or not. That's why I mentioned that Super Mega Force. So thank you very much for clarifying that for me. But yeah, guys, definitely go ahead and let me know your thoughts in regards to Boom Studios' plans going forward for Power Rangers Universe. Again, dropping this upcoming December 29th. So check it out at your local comic book store. First and foremost, if you can't get to your local comic book store, if you don't have one nearby, check out comiXology.com, a great source for downloading digital comics that you can read either on your tablet, your computer, or even your phone. All right, guys. And with that out of the way, there was a story I was going to go ahead and bring up, but we kind of highlighted it already. The idea from the Illuminati that Power Rangers was going to adapt Gosei Sentai Dire Ranger for the new comic book series. But I think we already kind of talked and highlighted that a little bit already, also. So it'll be interesting to see. Like, are we going to get the full on suits themselves? Like, are they going to go from, say, this form into eventually this form, and then maybe into the Morphing Master suits that we know as of today that we've seen in Dino Fury? I'm not sure what the evolution is certainly going to be, but I love the character designs that they've utilized so far. I am curious as to who the artist is. I'm wondering if that's Dan Mora returning once again, or if that's the current Mighty Morphin um, artist. Was it Marco Arena, I believe? But should be interesting. Should be interesting to see, guys. So yeah, I might skip that full on Illuminati article, but definitely check it out if you can on your own time. Next topic that we're gonna go ahead and get into, which should be pretty fun, guys, is that of Legend of the White Dragon, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, LOTWD, baby. The teaser trailer wind up getting dropped here this week. I don't know if you guys have had the opportunity to certainly check it out for yourself. If you haven't done so, please do yourselves a favor and check it out. We've been hearing this for quite some time. This was definitely a situation, I feel like, for um, Jason David Frank, where it got off to a little bit of a rocky start. You know, they certainly had their first Kickstarter that I don't believe made the money that they were certainly hoping for. But they definitely turned things around in a second Kickstarter, definitely acquired the money that they certainly needed for it. And this movie is happening, ladies and gentlemen. It's officially wrapped. It's being put together by Bat in the Sun as Jason David Frank teams up with them once again to go ahead and put this film out, as Jason David Frank plays the character in Eric Reed, aka the White Dragon. It's been a while since we've seen a little bit of a tease. It feels like ever since we saw the initial tease that a lot of parts and things have certainly changed when it comes to this movie. It probably almost feels like a completely different movie at this point, honestly. But I've been waiting around for this trailer, and it dropped. And ladies and gentlemen, it did not disappoint. It really didn't. I have seen some people already online talking about, hey, it looks great, but I don't know what the story is like. So this is a crappy trailer, or not. They're not really going to give it a chance. I would like to clarify something here. For those of you, maybe you don't follow movies like I do, teaser trailers are just hype machines. Okay. Teaser trailers are there to go ahead and show you pieces of the movie that look the coolest, get you hyped, and make you think to yourselves, I kind of want to check this out. I kind of want to check this out. The official trailer is usually meant to go ahead and actually give you storyline details, maybe some character plots, some storyline arcs that we're going to get into this to really get you the info, and for something you just sink your teeth into. And then usually the second official trailer is a little bit of everything: action, some more tidbits here and there, but really, like, usually the final sort of trailer. So I saw some people saying that they were really complaining at the idea of, like, oh, it didn't tell me anything about the movie, sort of thing. I don't know why I would want to see it, especially if you're not going to tell me what the movie's about. Patience, guys. We all got to exercise some patience. And when it comes to teaser trailers, that's not the mentality and what a teaser trailer is meant to do. It's just meant to tease you, as it says in the title itself. And so that's exactly what we wind up getting in here. And for me, the takeaway was easily just the amazing actors. Let me see if I can pull this up here. And Bat in the Sun, please don't at me. Don't copyright me, please. I'm just trying to help promote your shit. So help a brother out here. But if you never checked out a Bat in the Sun production, they always put their best foot forward. I will say this, while there's not a lot of story to certainly go through, I love this opening shot here, especially as it's voiced over by David Ramsey himself.
Also known as Eric Reed.
It's the idea that Eric Reed's gotten into some shit that he wasn't supposed to, right? Like, this feels very much like the fallout of the very first battle that he had, which puts David Ramsey's character sort of on notice in the sense of, like, we need to bring him to justice. We need to kind of bring him in. Eric Reed done some shit to the city that's kind of uncalled for, sort of thing. And so I love how it starts off with the conclusion of, I'm assuming, that very first battle, and one of the reasons why maybe Eric Reed is in hiding as of right now. But look at the production quality, how clean this is. JDF looks absolutely great. You got a shot of Jason Fountain here. Looks like they're on one of their ships and things like that. What else we got in here? The actors, boom, great actor. Boom, great actor. I think this lady, I can't remember her name on the far right with the police badge, but I think she was just in the Suicide Squad movie as Mongal. I think one of the opening sequences. She wasn't in the movie very long, but again, you're getting. Look at the muscles, man. I mean, you're getting some badassery in this film already, with some great acting and performances. I love this shot of seeing JDF and his crew. You got Fount, you got
hey guys,
Serena in here also.
I'm kind of getting a weird feedback.
Got some comedy relief also. Dragon Prime looks like a freaking beast. Getting to see this shot. Where's Eric Reed? I mean, I can't wait to see what this battle is certainly going to look like and turn out to be.
Let's see what we're working with.
I think we're going to get the best JDF, honestly, guys. Like, I truly do. Not just fighting-wise, too, but I think maybe even performance-wise. I'm really looking forward to seeing what JDF bring his A game. This feels very much like a passion project of his. So I am interested to see how, what the performance level is certainly going to be like in here. I mean, he's got fight sequence after fight sequence, but I am expecting JDF to truly bring it. There is one portion of this trailer that I felt like maybe they shouldn't have shown, but again, I don't know the context to it. There's a shot in here where it looks like he's over his daughter, screaming out loud, sort of thing. Does she die in this movie, sort of thing? It is one of those things like, man, maybe you shouldn't have shown that. Like, I felt like that would have been like something you would hold off until the actual movie itself. Maybe it's a bad dream. I have no idea. But it does make me wonder if his daughter's going to die in here. But guys, this is my favorite shot. This is my favorite shot of the whole freaking movie right here. The superhero landing, the amazing graphics, seeing him power down a little bit as he walks into the embers and stuff. Incredible shot. Incredible shot to go ahead and end off this this trailer. Legend of the White Dragon. So yeah, I honestly, look, I think this trailer did what it's supposed to do.
Beautiful.
It's supposed to get you hyped. It's supposed to go ahead and get you ready, just to tease you as to certainly what's coming. And I thought JDF and Bat in the Sun truly did. The production value looks incredible. That superhero landing at the end looks badass as can be. The costumes look fresh. I cannot wait to see what the story details are certainly going to be like when we get our next trailer. I don't believe that it said an actual release date for this. I believe, if anything, it probably it just says 2022. I know some people have mentioned that I believe it's supposed to be dropping in August sometime. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see. So there's definitely plenty of time before this movie actually gets to us, that I do not expect this to be the only trailer that we certainly do get. So if you're looking for storyline details, it's coming. There is a synopsis out there for you guys to certainly read if you want to get the premise of it. So I would recommend people that are complaining about it, do a Google search, guys. If you want to learn about what this movie is going to be like, there's plenty out there to certainly know what the premise and the synopsis of it certainly is. And this is just to tease you a little bit more. But I am expecting more details as we get further trailers that wind up dropping in regards to it. But it looks clean, man. It looks absolutely clean. And just from the brief moments, maybe we'll see more of JDF's performance in here. I think Homeboy only has like 1 or 2 lines in this trailer. but he doesn't feel like he's overacting in those one or two lines. So I'll give it a chance. I'll give it a chance. Let's see here. Who else we got? We got Edward Sanchez. He says, Bat and the Sun are incredible. I agree with you. They do incredible work, honestly. I'm really impressed with a lot of stuff that they really do. So I'm not expecting them to slouch on this whatsoever. When you have worked with JDF so many times in the past, and you know the power and the gravitas that JDF brings with him. I mean, the fact alone that JDF, just from this trailer alone, guys, right? Like one of the highlights of this trailer is let's show you all the star power that we have in this movie. It's there. It's there. Like there, it almost feels like Bat and the Sun and JDF have no business getting some of these actors and performers that they certainly do, but that's the weight and gravitas of who JDF is and what he brings to it. People know him and what Bat and the Sun have certainly done. And so, yeah, man, I'm not expecting them to slouch on this whatsoever. Maybe the movie's not great, but I can almost tell you the people that are going to be in this movie, they're going to be trying their damnedest. Doomsday says it looks really badass. I definitely agree with you for sure. I will one says glad that Legend of the White Dragon got off the ground. Yeah, me too. I was kind of curious as to how they were going to be working on that. You know, like I was kind of curious to see, would it be able to rebound after the first Kickstarter maybe didn't necessarily go the way that they certainly hoped for, and to kind of see them come back and create this great rebound. JB says what? Says he's looking pretty forward to it also. Definitely. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it also. But guys, definitely let me know your thoughts in regards to this. What are your guys' thoughts after checking out the Legend of the White Dragon trailer? I would definitely recommend you guys go to YouTube, check it out for yourself. Also, this time maybe with the volume on, so you can certainly hear it for sure. Let's see here. Yusai says you have to respect that there's so much artistry and time made for a collaborative project of this budget. So much went into this that you have to admire it. I totally agree. You know, again, the big stars taking their time. I mean, David Ramsey even talked about like the legacy of JDF and what he knows him as and how much he was excited to get a part of this. I mean, bringing in somebody from that literally just starred in the Suicide Squad movie, John Wick 3. I mean, the homeboy from I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but homeboy that was in the prison. I don't know if that's Eric Reed's dad or I don't know who he's playing, but the guy that picks up the telephone, huge star in Hollywood. Like I remember him from like Kill Bill and stuff. Like he's done a ton of movies in his lifetime. I mean, the list goes on and on. Like the fact alone that they are willing to collaborate with JDF and Bat and the Sun, I think says a lot about maybe what this world is that they're certainly trying to create and the effort and the ambition that definitely goes behind it. So I agree with you. You definitely have to respect the artistry and the collaborative effort that went behind it for sure. Yusai says, will it be good is another question, but definitely commendable. And I definitely agree with you there. Marcelino asks, will it be released on YouTube? I'm assuming that it will. Like, it might be available first for like those that did Kickstart it. Like, I'm pretty sure they'll probably get first glimpses at it, maybe even like a Blu-ray of the movie itself. But I would assume that it would probably be released on YouTube. Emmanuel says, I meant Dragon. I'm still unsure if this is for Ranger fans. If so, Hasbro, get this crew and their friends for actors and films people will take seriously. You know, I will say this. I do think that this certainly is for Ranger fans, but I think also for other fans too. You know, I mean, I know that JDF did have to certainly battle about the idea of like copyright and being maybe too close to resembling that of Power Rangers. So trust me when I say JDF definitely did some heavy lifting to make changes and to make things feel a little bit more unique. But I think if you have been a fan of JDF's career, even if you've been a fan of Bat and the Sun or any of these other big actors' career sort of thing, this might be up their alley. This might be something that they're willing to certainly go ahead and take a glimpse at, so may not be for every Ranger fan, but I do think that if you are a fan of his past work and Power Rangers in general, if you're big into at least, morphine sequences, kung fu, martial arts, action sort of thing, this is probably up your alley regardless. So definitely worth checking out. Tokusatsu fans, right? Like, I mean, it definitely has all the vibes from that combined in this. So definitely going to check it out. And as we get more details, more trailers, guys, we'll definitely go ahead and keep you guys posted. So definitely go ahead and let me know your guys' thoughts about Legends of the White Dragon in the comment section box or live chat below. And then last but not least, guys, as we go ahead and round up this episode before we dive into your guys' live viewer questions, our last story revolves around that of Miss Amy Jo Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. She's been busy, man. She's been rather busy. One of the things that we've highlighted before over on A Plus Hero Report. Actually, let me see if I have this photo. Give me a second here. I want to see if I still have this photo. I'm trying to see if I actually saved it or not. Because Amy Jo Johnson has been rather busy. Do I have it saved here? No, it's not in that folder. Let me see if it's in here. Because I thought this was a pretty cool photo, but I'm starting to doubt myself if I actually saved it. Oh, here it is. Amy Jo Johnson's been rather busy. She actually just wrapped her episode of Superman and Lois. She's actually been directing episode number 6 of the second season as of late. This was a really cool shot of her and Tyler, who plays Superman on the Superman and Lois CW series. An amazing series. If you guys have not had the opportunity to check it out, do yourselves a favor. I know people say, oh, it's a CW though. Why would I want to check it out? It don't feel like a CW show. I can tell you that right now. It feels very big budget. Superman, very much paying attention to it. But season 2 is getting ready to drop rather soon here in 2022. And Amy Jo Johnson had the opportunity to go ahead and direct episode number 6. So definitely go ahead and check it out. But outside of that, it seems as though she's writing also. As it has in fact been confirmed that Amy Jo Johnson's writing a story for Boom Studios, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see here if I can go ahead and bring this one up for you guys. So let's dive into this because I found this rather interesting. This is from PurRanger.com over on @PurRanger over on Twitter. It says some exciting news, Power Ranger fans, from Emerald City Comic Con as she was at the convention this week. The OG Pink Ranger, the OG Pink Ranger states that she and her partner have written a comic book for Boom Studios, who are quite excited about it. It's a family reunion style story of the original team and where they are now. And then the source itself actually did link us back to the Instagram page in which this comes from. But it says from Jonathan Curtis, the biggest news from Amy Jo Johnson's panel at Emerald City Comic Con is that she and her boyfriend have written a comic book for Boom Studios and that the company is quite excited. She says it will be a family reunion type of story about the original team as they are now in their mid 40s. So definitely diving into the future of what the MMPR team certainly looks like. One that I definitely did not expect. And this does make me ask a couple of questions here, guys. Like, what's going on behind the scenes right now? It feels very much like both Amy Jo Johnson and David Yost are experimenting with the idea of revisiting their MMPR team, right? We've got David Yost that's talked about the idea of maybe pitching a sort of reunion series to Hasbro titled Quantum. Damn it, I can never remember the damn name of it, honestly, off the top of my head. But David Yost wants to go ahead and revisit them as a revival series. And now it seems as though Amy Jo Johnson and her boyfriend are writing a story for Boom Studios to focus specifically on that team itself. And so while I definitely am under the impression that they're very much their own entities and their own storylines, there is a part of me that really hopes that, one, it feels very much like Amy Jo Johnson's Boom Studios Power Ranger story is going to happen. I feel pretty confident in regards to that. I am still curious as to whether or not the David Yost stuff will certainly still happen. I don't know if it's been picked up, if it's been greenlit by Hasbro and Entertainment One or whatever the case may be. But if it is, there is a part of me that's kind of hoping that they are collaborating in some way or another, teaming up in some sense. It doesn't necessarily have to mean like crossover, but it is one of those things where, for me as a Ranger fan, it would be really odd if like what David Yost is creating to follow up with these characters in their 40s or whatever the case may be, it's significantly different than what Amy Jo Johnson puts out as her story. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that there are elements that are both attached to it in some way, just some connective tissues to make sure that they're both, whether Amy Jo's is, detailing something that happened to them when they're 45 and David Yost is detailing something on them that happened when they're 47, like I hope the lead up to these moments in the comic books and in the television series or reunion series, whatever they're building, I'm hoping that there is some connective tissues and they're not like absolutely contradicting one another. You know what I mean? But this fascinates me. This makes me feel like first off, to see David Yost and Amy Jo even come back to the world of Power Rangers, I think is pretty inspiring. I think it just shows how things certainly change over time, how time heals all wounds. Doesn't matter the terrible shit that might have happened to them or bad experiences or wanting to take a break from being connected to Power Rangers to just do your own thing, to kind of see them kind of come full circle back to the franchise that really kicked their careers off for them, is pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. And to see that passion to even want to get involved in that capacity, I think really says something also. So, listen, Johnny Bosch, I know you're out there, man. I know you're pretty creative, whether that be voice acting, maybe directing, maybe writing your own. I would love to see you come back in some way, maybe tap into another Power Ranger story to focus on a lot of these characters and where they are in their life today. But this also gives me hope that if David Yost is working on something, maybe I don't want to say this confirms that Amy Jo Johnson is on board, but maybe she's a little bit more open to the idea of, yeah, let's revisit some of these characters, David. Let's get us back on screen, but let's also maybe elaborate a little bit more on where we're at in our lives in the form of a comic book. I really hope it's that sort of level of collaboration. Like, it may not initially have started out that way, but maybe if it's a pitch that David Yost initially had, because I feel like we talked about the David Yost stuff like a year and a half so ago. So I feel like there maybe has been some development behind it. I am hoping that maybe that development and that talking with the cast and some of the Rangers have maybe inspired them to maybe add a little bit more. Because if there is anything I've always wanted to see, it is the sense of where are these characters and their futures at as of right now? What are they currently into? I feel like we just saw like Soul of the Dragon, which probably focused on Tommy much further in his life and his career. But I definitely do think it's so open-ended right now that there's a lot of story that can certainly be told. And so I hope they pull this off, man. Again, it doesn't necessarily need to be connected. I'm not asking for it to be connected. I just hope that if you are going to be tackling the MMPR team where they're at in their current times, let's make sure we're not stepping on each other's shoes and that we are taking at least connective tissues to make sure that the story we're telling are certainly lined up with everything. And so I'm excited. David Yost I'm so excited to see what he's going to be doing. And now seeing Amy Jo Johnson really sort of fully back into the Power Rangers mindset, creating stories. It's a win, man. I think it's a win for all of us as a Power Ranger fan and franchise. So it's one of the things I've always wanted to see, right? I hope Hasbro becomes more open about allowing these actors to return to the characters that they help create. I think it's something that Toei does really well with Super Sentai, honoring the people and the Rangers and Super Sentai teams that came before and really giving them a voice and an avenue to express themselves and still be involved in the franchise. And that's exactly how I look at this David Yost and Amy Jo Johnson thing. Whether that be Boom Studios, whether or not Hasbro's on board, I got to assume that they give them the green light also. This makes me hopeful that Hasbro is opening their eyes a little bit to the idea of utilizing some of these great actors that we knew and loved growing up as kids. So great stuff, man. Let me know what your levels of enthusiasm is for this. I don't really know what storyline they're going to get into, but looking forward to it. Let's see here. Doomsday says the original Pink Ranger's in the house. Absolutely. I can't wait to see what Amy certainly does. Blossom says, I haven't seen Amy since I spoke to her on Cameo. That's pretty cool. I'm glad that she definitely gave you that quality time on Cameo for sure. Emmanuel says, bro, this stream is too interesting. Surprise, Amy's back after 25 years off the show. I know, incredible stuff, right? Like it's one of those things. I don't want to say you never thought that Amy Jo Johnson will return to Power Rangers in any form, but early in the career, maybe like, had you asked me like 10, 15 years ago, I would think that she probably, not to say that she hated her time or anything like that, but clearly wanted to create something for herself. And I got to admire her for that, So to be able to come full circle after all these years, I never thought I'd see it, man. And I'm so glad that it's actually happening for sure. Marcelino says, just to let you know, I accidentally sent my A+ hero report questions to, okay, so you can skip them, but I still sent A+ more for, okay, no problem. Johnny, I don't remember. Hey, Johnny, what's up? Good to see you, man. Good to see you, having you join us. Quantum Continuum. Thank you very much, Johnny. It's like a tongue twister, man. I can never freaking remember. For some reason, I almost want to go to almost wanted to say Quantum Mania, but I'm like, no, that's Ant-Man 3's title. So yeah, Quantum Continuum. Thank you. Marcelino says, Deoxy360 said that Amy Jo Johnson's comic will be in line with the TV show and ignore the comics, which makes sense. I can definitely see that. I mean, she is building off of what she and her characters certainly established. So that definitely makes sense. Emmanuel says, I wonder how the original cast feels about their hard work paying off for nearly years. They got to be happy about it. They're still doing conventions and still getting recognized wherever they go. So I'm pretty sure they are extremely excited about it. Hey, Campbell's still in here. Thank you very much, Campbell. Good to see you, man. Marcelino says, hopefully this means that more Power Ranger actors will write comics. And whether or not, listen, I don't necessarily want every Power Ranger actor to start write comics, right? Like if you have that type of creative mind, like somebody like Amy Jo certainly does. I mean, she certainly has done it all. Not everybody's certainly built to be a writer, you know what I mean? But I would like to see past Power Ranger actors get involved in some way, whether that be, voice acting again, especially if we do animated series. I would love to see the original actors come back and portray some of their voices if that's all possible. Maybe Campbell Cooley can help them with some of their ADR sessions, bringing back some of these characters. I think it would be great to do something like that. If there's opportunities for these actors to be on screen again, give them that opportunity. I hope Hasbro continues to be, or at least is open to that concept and thought, at least, because I do think that, especially if you're reimagining and you're rebooting stuff, there are a lot of fans that are a little bit bummed at the notion. Does that mean all the 28 years that we've established doesn't mean anything anymore, right? Are we just going to gloss over that stuff? I hope Hasbro doesn't necessarily fully do that, but also continues to create content that maybe still at least connects to the past 28 years. And if so, allowing them to come back and reprise their roles in some way. I do think it would make fans extremely happy, for sure, especially when there's so many different seasons of Power Rangers to certainly love and appreciate. So we'll see what happens, man. But yeah, Amy Jo Johnson's returning to Power Rangers in the form of writing a comic book with her boyfriend for Boom Studios as a family reunion sort of thing to finally follow up on our Rangers after 40 plus years. Exciting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. So let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below after this video airs. And with that, guys, that wraps up all of our topics today. So thank you very much for each and every one of you guys certainly joining us here today. Always great to hear everybody's opinions and thoughts. That's what we really want to go ahead and push here when it comes to A plus more phenomenal, guys. Again, it's not just my A plus opinions. At the end of the day, I definitely want to go ahead and know yours. So thank you for everybody being so respectful to each other also each and every week. But with that out of the way, live viewer question time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. I'm going to try and wrap this up by 3 o'clock. The missus, the baby mama, definitely has a couple houses to show today, so I don't want to take up too much time. So let's see if we can blaze through these because we've got quite a few. We got quite a few guys. So let's do this. Jessica Friedman. Are there any plans for a big crossover event for the big Arrowverse anniversary next? Oh, I think that's actually. Let me save that for Hero Report, shall I? Andre Johnson. What's up, Andre Johnson? He says, hello, everyone. I'm Andre and hope you don't mind me joining this YouTube community. Not at all, man. Welcome to the family. He says, I found your Twitter handle at A Plus Opinions and I saw some links for Power Ranger discussions and an email was on the screen in the video. Thought I would join. He says, I don't want this to be a bad first impression of me and I would like to share my thoughts on the crossover in Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Hey, man, no problem whatsoever. Let's see what Andre certainly has in regards to his thoughts on the Beast Morphers crossover. He says, this episode was just okay, which is disappointing because season 2 of Beast Morphers, in my experience, was really strong until this point. It did kind of make me want to go back and watch Dino Charge. I definitely agree with you. And I forgot how much I liked Ivan, the Ranger who was out of the modern times. Yeah, Ivan was a big fan favorite, I thought. Seeing Jason, the MMPR Red Ranger, back was so cool, but my biggest gripe with this episode was that it felt very rushed to me. You're not the only one, man. He says, I understand that they couldn't get any of the Dino Thunder Rangers back, but I would have liked a line from Jason to explain why they weren't there. Literally a simple line like, I talked to Tom and he can't make it, but he's sending some of his old friends to help. That would be cool. He says, as it is, their inclusion in this crossover just seemed unnecessary and odd. I know it's due to Sentai footage, but still. It wasn't horrible, though, and seeing this series of Beast Morphers as a whole makes me wish we had the creative team during the Super Mega Force run. Seeing what Beast Morphers was doing as far as honoring old seasons was really great. I know in an actual anniversary season like Go Kaiju, which was unfortunately badly turned into a Mega Force, we could have really gotten something awesome instead of the disappointing season known as Super Mega Force. I'm sorry for my first engagement to be negative, but I was really excited for Beast Morphers crossover when it was first announced. I'm really enjoying Dino Power Rangers Dino Nights or Dino Fury and can't wait for its second season. Thank you, Mr. YouTube guy. Hey, no problem, Andre. Thank you very much, man, for your question and your thoughts. And listen, nothing wrong with having some negative thoughts on the crossover, because trust me when I say you're not the only one. I know some people necessarily weren't the biggest fans of it, didn't mind it, thought it was okay, but maybe dropped the ball a little bit in regards to what it could do. I do wonder if some of that had to do with what Nickelodeon certainly allowed in regards to the format of the storytelling, right? The idea of every stories kind of have to wrap up into sort of one episode, you know what I mean? Because I do think a crossover of that level, especially bringing Austin St. John back, would have really done wonders for a two-parter. You know what I mean? So I get it. I mean, there are definitely some things in the episode that I definitely felt fell short of, but I still certainly enjoyed it. I thought it was one of the better crossovers that we had gotten in several years. And just something about seeing Austin St. John return, the nostalgic factor just kind of took over for me. So maybe the nostalgia factor won me over more than how comprehensive of an episode it was when it was actually put together. But trust me when I say your gripes are not unfounded. I definitely do think there are a few people out there that certainly would agree with you. But overall, like you said, Beast Morphers, it wasn't horrible though, and you were actually a really big fan of the Beast Morphers season. So I'm glad you liked it, Andre, and thank you very much for your questions and your thoughts. Adrian Perez live, he's got a couple questions for you. He says, when you read this, I will be out of the country for the holidays to celebrate my wife's extended family in Sydney. Hey, I hope you're having a fantastic trip out there, man. Take some pictures for us. Send us some well wishes from Sydney. He was like, I will try and check in before you talk about the season 1 finale of Dino Fury. Have you heard about Real Soldier doing an episode 0 thing with the Masters, who are the original Real Soldier Knights, by having their own little mini series? Are you hesitant about going back to Real Soldier now that the first season of Dino Fury is about over for you? I remember you had mixed bag about with Real Soldier. Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of Real Soldier, but I have heard about it. Yeah, it was they did do a 2-parter little mini series for the Masters, Legacy of the Master's Soul or something like that. I have downloaded it, and when time allows, I will be doing a review on it also. We did a review for the little mini episode that they had for Memories of a Friend or something like that, when it was an episode solely for Nada that I think took place just before Nada's I don't want to ruin it for those in Real Soldier, but for me, while the thought of revisiting Real Soldier gives me chills, and not in a great way, I have really enjoyed what Toei has done with elaborating on the story. Because I feel like a lot of the stuff that they're doing now for Real Soldier probably should have been included in the series itself, or at least that Nada stuff that we wind up getting. But it at least built upon the series a little bit more to make me appreciate some of the characters a little bit more. So, one of the things that I always mentioned was the Masters were gone way too soon. I really wish that they had kept them around to help build up some of the Real Soldier characters that we had. And so it almost feels like doing these little mini crossover events is Toei's way of saying, you know what, we did kind of F up, and we're trying to make up for it in a sense. So let's give you some more of the Masters. And it is one that I'm really interested in diving into. I definitely want to see how they incorporate that story. So I probably will be watching it. I probably won't be revisiting the series, but I probably will be watching that little mini series that they have. We talked about this a lot, but how would you feel if Zenkaiger was adapted for Power Rangers? The main issue with Zenkaiger as an adaptation is that it was designed specifically for Super Sentai. This means that a lot of the elements seen in the show wouldn't translate for Power Rangers and would have to be changed. This includes the numbers seen on the head and gears. It's definitely a series I do not want to see adapted. I have my own reasons for it. Listen, while I may not like, or I might have a love-hate relationship with Zenkaiger, same thing when it comes to Real Soldier, right? Like, I wasn't the biggest fan of Real Soldier, but when it comes to adapting, you're not necessarily adapting the storyline, right? Like, you're just taking really the action, the suits, the Zord fights from that season, and then writing around it. So while I personally wouldn't want to see it, could it happen? Look, granted, with some of the rumors that we have right now that Hasbro only owns the rights up to Real Soldier, it makes me think it's not going to happen anyway. But just to play a hypothetical, it probably still isn't a series that I would want to see. If Hasbro were to do it, could they adapt it? I think you could still adapt it, but understand, if you were to adapt it, I think this would be a heavy task by Hasbro. I'm talking money out the wazoo to have to create brand new suits, maybe even have some fun with some Zords, maybe just trying to think about it. There might be some connections that maybe don't necessarily make sense. I mean, you would have to do a lot of original footage and redesigning of a lot of things. So I'm not one to say that anything is impossible. I think anything is possible if you have the will and the money to do it. So could it be adapted? Yes, it could be adapted. Again, but you're asking Hasbro to spend a lot of money to make some significant changes that I don't think they would even want to bother to certainly do. So for that, I don't think it would happen. And for me, I just don't, I don't think it would happen. So no, I do not want to see it adapted. Because Super Sentai goes back further than Power Rangers, a lot of shows haven't appeared or haven't been adapted to the same original order. Being years before Power Rangers, if done badly, would ultimately be Super Mega Force 2.0. Even Zenkaiger has a retro design because he was based on two of the first Sentai shows that never got adapted. While designing this kind of original team for Power Rangers, they could enjoy producing a gimmick for morphers, suits, and more for an epic series. Hasbro has so much experience with these brands that they could study all past content and create something special like a 45th series for the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers original. Absolutely, they certainly could. They certainly could. I don't know if they want to go necessarily that route, though. Crazier things have happened, though, man. I do know that you see that you have a Zeo Powers theory. Since we have a lot of questions right now, I might hold off on that one until next week, Adrian. So I will keep that as a new question before next week, okay? Tommy Gonzalez. What's up, Tommy? Hey, I'm Tommy Gonzalez. I found your YouTube channel when I was looking at videos of Power Rangers Beast Morphers and saw your video on the dinosaur team up. Hey, Tommy, man, we're getting some new people on board here. I love this. Thank you very much, guys. And thank you, YouTube, for recommending my videos, man, and at least keeping some of my content up there. So thank you very much. But welcome to the family, Tommy. How did you feel when the Alien Rangers appeared in Mighty Morphin Season 2 during the whole time travel arc with the main cast turning into kids? And also in Zeo to help Billy go back to his young age. Why are the Shogun Zords so similar in theme to the Ninja Zords? That I don't know. I think it's maybe just based off of the Super Sentai footage that maybe had to have been used. But I enjoyed the concept of the Alien Rangers when I watched it as a kid. I thought it was a pretty cool arc, especially during that time when the Rangers were out of commission and they were kids, and you just had Billy, who was the one that was kind of grown up. I thought it worked pretty well. There were elements. I just thought it was pretty cool in regards to at least an arc to get from point A to point B. Really unique way to go ahead and pull it off. I remember enjoying it as a kid. Rewatching it again, maybe a little bit cringy for me. I wish it maybe had elaborated on it a little bit more, built off on it. That is definitely one time period that I would love to see explored a little bit more. Like even the idea of like with what we have right now in the Omega Rangers and the Power Ranger series itself in Boom Studios. I would love to see those Alien Rangers return in some capacity and have a story focused on them. I really would. Since we got our Omega Rangers out in space, I mean, come on, Alien Rangers, Omega Rangers in space, it practically writes itself, guys. So we'll see. Doomsday says, damn, 2 newbies in one stream. That's awesome. I agree, man. I absolutely agree. I'm loving this so far. If we could, would you like for every Power Ranger generation to get into a giant brawl? And what would you like to be on top and be the loser? Ooh. Man. I would love to see something like that. That is one of the things that I think I love so much about the Super Sentai Strongest Battle was the idea that they did put their Super Sentai teams against one another to see who would make it to the top. And I would love the opportunity to see Hasbro take a swing and a stab at doing something creative like that. The legendary battle where we actually get to see all the Rangers there really failed and let us down, sort of thing. And while the Rangers didn't face off against themselves there, the potential was fantastic. And unfortunately, it didn't meet its greatest potential. So I would be cool with Hasbro taking a stab at it and doing something kind of really creative in that sense. As far as the teams to win and lose, sorry, Operation Overdrive, you're going down. Why is everybody beat up on Operation Overdrive? I know, but it's just low on my list, man. The winners, though, I mean, the winners got to be Dino Fury, right? Like they got to push their newest team, right? If not, maybe give me Time Force. Yeah, if not, I probably would say Time Force. Give me Time Force. I think Eric would just beat some ass for sure. This also bothered me. How the heck do Doggy Kruger Xenoin and steel heads fit inside their helmets. That the mysterious question. Boom Studios, listen, forget Phantom Ranger. We need some answers in regards to how they get their faces in these helmets. So let's go that route if we want to make a Boom Studios comic book going forward. Does the Morphin Grid just do weird stuff to your body? This even made no sense to me with Justin and from Turbo. Listen, I think if there's anything that I've learned when it comes to Power Rangers, the Morphin Grid works in mysterious ways. So yeah, I just assume it's just whatever the Morphin Grid wants to do. It can do anything. So yeah, but I couldn't answer your question, but I just think the Morphin Grid could do anything. Marcelino says, I would argue that Operation Overdrive has some of the best Ranger teams ever. Hey, listen, hey, however you're feeling, man, however you're feeling. I'm just making a joke because I just know people like to bash on Operation Overdrive so much. Let's see here. Power Rangers Legacy. For season 2 of Dino Fury, what if Void Knight found the armor to save Santora and used it so he could survive wherever he was from? It would be a cool parallel to Merrick from Wild Force, who took the cursed wolf mask and Zenaku in order to defeat the original Master Org, which couldn't take it off. So as for Void Knight, he could keep the armor to maybe keep himself alive. That would be pretty cool. I would love to see him. I would love to see like just how battle damaged this guy truly is. But that would be pretty cool if we found the armor to save Santora. We'll see how that turns out. I have no idea the route that they're going to go in here. Again, I was thinking to myself, maybe he'll utilize that bronze armor at some point in time, and maybe they'll give it more shine than just the one episode arc that it wind up having. Simon Bennett did mention the idea that Void Knight was going to return, or at least his story was certainly going to be told. So I hope there's more there. He also had the plan for the other Sporix beast, the body swap. I'm wondering if last minute he swapped out his body with anybody else that we weren't able to see. Is he somehow inside of Santora's body? Who freaking knows? I have no idea, but I'm fascinated. While I'm not a fan of Tommy and MMPR being milked by Hasbro, what do you think of his talking sword Saba being killed in the comics, according to Ryan Parrott being Scree Rant? Oh, you even sent a link. Thank you very much, Legacy. I had no idea about this. Oh, he says Power Rangers gave the White Rangers talking sword a haunting death. It says in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issues 24, they're launching a full-scale. Rita Repulsa's launching a full-scale attack on Earth by releasing 10 giant monsters all at the same time, nearly overwhelming the Rangers, spring into action. Using the attack as a distraction, an evil version of Tommy, known as Lord Draken, who's been kept prisoner, escapes the confines of his containment. Saba, the talking ranger headed Zord, that's right, attempts to stop the corrupted version as he tries to escape the facility. I do remember that. He shoots Saba with the laser beam out of his eyes. Saba shoots a laser beam out of his eyes after warning Tommy to return to his cell. Tommy, having all the skills as his good guy counterpart, easily dodges the blast and rushes Saba, grabbing the hilt violently. I recall that. Tommy tells Saba that he will not be the one who is ending, then rips off the tiger sword head from the hilt. That's pretty crazy. It was memorable for sure. Jaw-dropping, ballsy. I think that's the fun of being able to tell these stories in comic book forms, is you can take liberties that maybe you can't necessarily in the comics. Saba's always going to be a trademark and a memorable moment for MMPR for sure. You know what I mean? But all good things do come to an end, man. And like, if you are going to kill off somebody, it might as well be the inanimate object of a sword hilt that can talk to you. But yeah, still impactful to say the least. But I loved it. What is the best overall Super Sentai series for someone who's never watched Sentai, and which series is on par with its Power Ranger counterparts? I think Go Busters is on par with Beast Morphers for sure. That's probably the one that I feel like is probably closest. As far as the best overall Super Sentai series for someone who's never watched Sentai, listen, I never watched Sentai in my life. And the first series that I jumped on board with was Gokaiger. And while that was an anniversary series and it had a bunch of connective tissues to past and faces from the past that I may not have known about, I think for me as a Power Ranger fan, the costumes and the suits have that connective tissue, right? Like, even though I may not necessarily know the storylines based out of Super Sentai, pirates are just fucking cool anyway. So that was so cool to see that they actually made a pirate theme for a Super Sentai. Um, but I love the idea of how they handled the anniversary series, the homages that they certainly paid. And I think for me, it made me appreciate Super Sentai a lot more to see the attention and care to detail that they gave to other Super Sentai teams that made me want to then watch other Super Sentai stuff. You know what I mean? Even though I didn't understand maybe all the connections to it, the stories I think were told well enough to where you didn't necessarily need to. Um, you can still enjoy the series itself, even if you don't necessarily know all the little Easter eggs and the connective tissues. But if you have watched Power Rangers before, right, there's 28, 27 years or however many years at the time of familiar suits that you knew as a Power Ranger fan. So for me, Gokaiger is always a series that I tell people, listen, some people may not agree with me, but I don't mind Gokaiger being a first time Sentai season for somebody because one, it's showy as F. It's got great characters, great storylines, and great homage to past Super Sentai teams that made me curious to dive more into Super Sentai, whether it be the past or new stuff, certainly going forward. So I would say Gokaiger. I would say Gokaiger. Just out of the stuff that I've watched, right? Like I haven't watched every Super Sentai series, but out of the stuff that I've watched, as far as first timers go, Gokaiger was it for me to make me fall in love with Super Sentai. Lightning Strikes Productions. A new person. What's up, Lightning Strikes? Thank you very much, man. He says, "Hola a todos. Hola a todos. My name is Miguel, and I have a couple of questions." What's up, Miguel? Thank you very much, man. It was this third new person today. In regards to these questions, what do you think of the new Power Ranger movie trailer by actor Tommy, the green, white, red, and black Power Ranger? What are you most excited about it? And what other action film do you think has the same level or even story as the one by Tommy? So just to clarify, thank you very much for the questions, Miguel. There's another one here too, but it's not necessarily a Power Ranger movie. This isn't connected to the overall arc of Power Rangers whatsoever, not approved by Hasbro or any connective tissues. This is very much Jason David Frank, who played Tommy, creating his own character, clearly taking influences from Power Rangers. So I get what you're saying there. So there is some Power Ranger influence, but it's not connected, right? So yeah, Legends of the White Dragon. I'm definitely excited for the action. I'm definitely excited for the production value of Bat in the Sun. I want to see these costumes more on screen, and these actors that they've managed to get. Really have me curious as to one, how big of a role that they're playing and how much are they truly going to add to the story of this film. So I'm excited for all of it. I truly am. I want to see what JDF's creative mind combined with Bat in the Sun storyline wise, what they're able to create, and if JDF as an actor can push himself, can really push himself as an actor, because I feel like I've always known JDF to be maybe a little bit overacting in his things. But I think the addition of his daughter being in here, some very familiar faces that he's used to work with, all that chemistry, I think, will hopefully allow him to be truly the best version of himself as he can be when it comes to being an actor. So I really want to see JDF put it all together. And I feel like when it comes to this movie, it might have everything right up my alley as a Power Ranger fan that I really want to see. I mean, damn, that superhero landing as he flies through the sky right into the hole of the building and punches himself down into as he lands. My God. My God. What other action film do you think is on the same has the same feel? I have to see more of it. I have to see more of it. Like right now, I just kind of compare it to other Bat in the Sun projects that they've worked on. Maybe even like the Power Rangers Unworthy YouTube videos and things like that that they have out there. Bigger budget, fan made kind of stuff. But this feels very much like it's Bat in the Sun. They brought in hundreds of thousands of dollars to go ahead and put together this production. So I think this production is going to be as great of a production as you can see and it not be a theatrical release. What did you think of the 25th season of Power Rangers Ninja Stew? My first season of Power Rangers was Mighty Morphin, the reruns, though I watch all the seasons up to Dino Fury, but skip Ninja Stew. Gracias, amigo. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. And Feliz Navidad, he says. Very cool. Same to you, man. Hope you enjoy your holidays. I wasn't the biggest fan. There are some characters that certainly stood out to me. I mean, Sarah, anybody? But other than that, I mean, it's kind of forgetful. Like for me, like I love the idea of like, hey, this guy, one of the best, greatest samurai in the world, vanished sort of thing. I like the premise of the son wanting to look for his dad, then discovers his long lost brother, and then they find his dad. But it's like they find his dad, and then Homeboy's just not around. Like he's like a deadbeat dad. He's nowhere. Like we spent all season 1 looking for you, and you're nowhere to be found in season 2. It just felt very much like yeah, like there was a kiss scene between Calvin and his girlfriend, and I think they cut that out, sort of thing. It just felt like they shot themselves in the foot and just wasn't as eventful as I certainly wanted it to be. But yeah, so I'm not the biggest fan. Not the biggest fan. Thank you very much for your questions, Miguel. I appreciate it. Doomsday says, what is this? 3 newbies here now? Man, Adam's YouTube channel is blowing up big time. I mean, hey, listen, we have acquired some brand new subscribers. Super thankful for them for sure. So this is pretty incredible stuff, man. I've never had this many brand new questions being asked. Adam Perea. Hello, my better looking twin. I get out of here, Adam. This is related to a question Stuart answered last week on A+ Hero Report. So shout out to Stuart. I do agree that the revamped Hasbro Power Ranger universe is coming to next Netflix is a very safe and smart choice instead of theaters. It would make it easier for casual moviegoers and older fans who don't like who don't follow the modern Power Rangers series to catch up on episodes on Netflix that Hasbro will later put onto the new universe, or if they keep the current series of Dino Fury. I know the 2017 movie, general viewers had no idea that the Rangers being in detention and getting power coins with abilities were similar from Dino Thunder, which I think was one of the reasons the movie didn't do so well in the box office. Look, we've talked about this before, about the one of the big things that I've been pushing for the past 6 months, if not more, maybe even longer than that, because it took me a while to actually make that video. For those of you who don't know, we talked about this back in June. I made a video asking the very question, will the Power Ranger reboot movie go to streaming or theaters? In which I made my case back in June that the smart decision would be going straight to streaming for this movie. And even before that, we had been talking very highly about that decision of Hasbro. Probably the smarter choice would be to do that. So when Hasbro announced that they were going to be making TV shows and films for Netflix, I'm glad that that's the route that they certainly went. It very much is safe. And I agree with you. I think this will be a great way, especially with Netflix having as many subscribers and eyes on it as it does. I think being able to put your content out there really works well. I think people worry a lot about Netflix canceling a lot of their series rather quickly, which doesn't surprise me, right? I mean, Cowboy Bebop literally just got canceled this week after season 1. But I think when it comes to Power Rangers, 2 things are in its favor. The format that Power Rangers usually takes, in the sense of like, hey, they do change out themes and teams and suits every season or 2, sort of thing, right? So it feels like it's a fresh restart. And the fact that Netflix has agreed to a deal to harness Power Rangers as a cinematic universe on their Netflix, I think definitely gives Hasbro some time and some creative freedom to create what they want without the fear of it all being gone after 2 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the potential of it staying around is definitely there. Do you feel Turbo and Operation Overdrive, though considered as some of the worst seasons of Power Ranger, they weren't really that bad compared to Samurai, Megaforce, and Ninja Steel? Turbo and OO did do things that make an impact on the franchise, like giving us an awesome transition to Power Rangers in space, allowing Overdrive Rangers to celebrate the 15th anniversary, which I love, by the way. I thought I was a big fan of the 15th anniversary, which actually was a great crossover compared to the 20th, 25th, and even grid connection. Yeah, I will say, if there was a redeeming quality about Operation Overdrive, it definitely was the 15th anniversary. Do I feel they're really not as bad compared to other series? I mean, maybe, listen, it's been years since I've watched Turbo and Overdrive. I just remember them not, leaving bad tastes in my mouth. And when it comes to Operation Overdrive, it was kind of a forgetful one for me, man. I will say this, to be fair, I did re-binge all of Power Rangers. And so I do wonder if by the time I got to Operation Overdrive, I was just like worn out, or I was like really like sputtering at that point in time, to really give it its fair share of attention. So maybe it is a series that I will go back and revisit. Turbo, on the other hand, I feel like I've seen Turbo enough to just not a big fan. But there are some other, trust me when I say, there are definitely some worse series than that, for sure. I mean, Samurai's a bore. Megaforce is a bore. Well, certain aspects of Samurai I don't mind. But yeah, Megaforce definitely a bore. Ninja Steel definitely a bore. So I wouldn't say that they may be worse seasons than Turbo and Overdrive. I might give you that for sure. I might give you that for sure, Adam. Let's see here. Who else we got? I Am Your Father. Have we had I Am Your Father on here before, or is this a fourth new? I can't quite remember. For the upcoming Netflix Power Ranger universe, if we got a new movie first before the series, which both will be connected, do you think Jonathan and the other guy can prevent what Saban did with Turbo, which was completely forgetting what just happened before it? For example, like the Zeo powers no longer used or mentioned again for no reason. Plus Tommy and Catherine pretending they were never a couple until the end of Turbo. No, I mean, I feel like I think they're going to be on top of it. I feel like they're going to be on top of it, especially in today's day and age, where, especially if you're making cinematic universes, everybody's going to be nitpicking, like, are you making canon errors? Are you making timeline errors? You know what I mean? So I definitely do think they'll be on top of it. I don't think they're going to have that worry. Now, if you're talking about the idea of creating the movie and the series, because it says if we get a new movie first before the series, right? So I'm thinking the movie will come first, and whatever the series is will be branched off or comes out of that new movie. So it's almost rather important that you have those connective pieces. You know what I mean? I'm kind of under the impression that the movie will launch into the series, and I'm kind of hoping that the movie team is that of the series team also. Now, it could be two completely different teams, who knows? But I'm hoping that whoever's starring in the movie also stars in the television series. And if that's the case, you probably need all that stuff to be connected and not forget about it. So I think Jonathan and them will be on board with it. L'Oreal's got a couple questions. Man, that episode was intense, wasn't it, for the Dino Fury season 1 finale? I can't believe Ollie's mom found out his identity like that. Me either. I definitely was not expecting it. I knew she would find out, but I thought she would find out on her own terms, not the idea of the surprise and the connection coming apart. Like when when he made the plan to destroy the Dino Henge statues, the first thing, it did not come to my mind that by destroying them, their connection would be broken. So I thought that was pretty smart too. So yeah, I love that idea in regards to that being unexpected for him and the team, and her finding out that way. I thought it was pretty cool. Wasn't it cool that we actually got to see one of the Morphing Masters? Yeah, somebody in the comments section said, "Yeah, that green Morphing Master's putting in some work, aren't they?" Yeah, absolutely. I do wonder if there's more to it as to why it's specifically the Green Morphing Master. I know the Akiba Ranger appeared in one of the Avengers comics, but won't it be sick if they were comics made as a combo of Beetleborgs and Mega Ranger? In our adaptation, they're made by the same man who made the Beetleborg comics in the series. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm not expecting them to make any other appearances in the comics. I mean, if they wanted to, maybe they do. I mean, hell, Ultraman's got a Marvel comic book from time to time. So I can't say it wouldn't surprise me, but as of right now, I think it was more of an Easter egg as an homage to Akiba Ranger, more so than, hey, we're coming out with a comic or something like that, right? But never say never, man. Never say never, Loyal. Doomsday. Do you think it would be cool or weird if they were to make a Dino Charge spin-off series set after the events of the end of Extinction, where the Dino Museum becomes a whole zoo, like the Dino Caretakers or something like that? It might be a little bit weird. Might be a little bit weird. For some people, it might be cool. For me, it would be a little bit weird. I don't necessarily need a spin-off out of Dino Charge so much as I wouldn't mind seeing the characters back. At least Tyler and Shelby and Coda are some of the three that I would love to see back. Do you think that JDF, Jason Font, and Sierra Hanna will be playing the same Power Ranger characters or play whole new characters? Whole new characters. Whole new characters. Like Jason David Frank is playing a gentleman by the name of Eric Reed. Can't remember who Jason Font's character is, but Sierra Hanna apparently has a significant role as to who her character will be portraying. So no, they're not their Power Ranger counterparts. Based on the Void Trap, what do you suppose will happen in Dino Fury Season 2? I definitely do think we find out truly what happened with Void Knight. Did he survive? Is he in somebody else's body, sort of thing? Did he body swap with somebody last minute? Clearly the teases, right? More Rafcon and Ion and Zato stuff in regards to learning more about Rafcon. Clearly he's got more questions. I do wonder if we've got a bigger part for Amelia to start taking even more of a spotlight in season 2. I still hope that we focus on the Javi and Izzy stuff, or at least in regards to Warden Garcia and how that certainly played itself out from the past about why why Warden Garcia is so damn harsh on Javi. I hope he does get a little bit more shine in season 2 also. And then really what happens with Mucus and Sly there. I do expect them to find their way back in the process of doing so. How much of a pain in the butt are they certainly going to be to our Dino Fury Rangers? And then that outside of that, like it doesn't feel like there's a big bad right now that's been set up, with the exception of knowing that Lord Zed is certainly still out there. That's one of the purposes of the Gold Ranger 4 even coming back, according to the Morphing Master. So Lord Zed definitely will be a big bad. But with Santora still, cooking inside of her chamber, I'm expecting big things from her also. So pretty good stuff. I think they've set up a lot of great stuff in this season finale for sure. Some great teases, definitely. Johnny Morero's got a couple questions. What did you like most about this Fan First Friday for Power Rangers? Probably the Zord Ascension project. I think that's a really bold project. One of the things about the Lightning Collection that's really grabbed my attention, not to say that some of the designs that Loretta and the rest of the team have done haven't, but I think this is probably one of the first things that I've seen that I'm like, wow, I really need to get for myself. Oh, by the way, they also did announce a new Ecliptor that they were going to be working on. Did I grab pictures? I did. Yes. Here we go. I forgot to mention this during that segment too, but they are developing a brand new Ecliptor for you guys, which is Ecliptor Red, ladies and gentlemen, from the season finale of In Space, if I'm not mistaken. There's only a one-time appearance of him, but Loretta and them have in fact designed a clip door red for you guys. I don't believe that they gave it a pre-order or a release date as of yet. But yeah, in space red, a clip door. I've always been a big fan of a clip door. I think his design has always been pretty badass. So for them to actually be thoughtful enough to kind of give such an exclusive character for a brief moment in space's own figure, they're definitely paying attention, man. They're definitely paying attention. What Zord or Megazord do you want to see happen for the Zord Ascension project? Honestly, um, I really wouldn't mind Dino Furies in there. I really want to see in spaces also. I think that would be pretty cool. Um, and some Thunder Megazords. I was always a big fan of their designs too. I would love to see. There's so many. Like the Zords designs were rather incredible. Some unique ones should be pretty interesting to see how they tackle it. But those are just some of the ones that kind of come to mind for me. Are you excited for what's to come for Power Rangers universe? Absolutely, man. I'm really pumped. I didn't know that they were going to dive into the Morphing Master's past, or even diving into the Phantom Ranger and a more solidified origin story for him. Really tapping um untapped potential, not to say the same word over again, but just a lot of untapped potential there, just storylines just waiting to be told. And somebody mentioned the idea of Boom Studios just continuing to showcase why Power Rangers in an animated form could really work, because there's just so much fun that they could definitely have with these characters. And then last but not least, hold on a second. Oh, hold on. Okay, two more questions. I'm sorry. Marcelino Vasquez. During last week's episode, did you find the scene where Zato and Ion's old team kept repeating the same lines over and over, annoying and repetitive? Almost everyone in the fandom, including myself, found it annoying and repetitive. We even joked that the real reason that Zato and Ion's old friend teammates are fighting them is because they have real voices while the other ones are royalty-free voices. I will say, when I first heard it, it was a little bit repetitive and annoying. But I think once you realize why they're saying the same things over and over again, in the context of the episode and storytelling purposes, I understood it a little bit better. I understood it a little bit better. Clearly, it was important. Clearly, hearing it over and over again was something for them to jog their memories of, wait a minute, these are the same moments that from our last battle sort of mentality. So maybe as a viewer, I can see it, because I kind of felt, I was like, man, they're literally going to keep saying the same thing over and over again. So there was a little bit of repetitiveness and annoyance by it. But I think once you understand it and they at least explain it to you, I understand why they certainly did it the way that they did it. So it didn't. Once I found out, it wasn't that big of an issue for me. How would you feel if Power Rangers created their own version of Deadpool, complete with fourth wall breaking and self-referential humor? That would be interesting. I would be open to it. That sounds odd and weird to me, but I would be open to it. It depends on the context in which it's used. Like if it's just for the kids show, no. If it's something that Jonathan Entwistle and a character that's created out of the bigger scope and bigger branch of this reboot and reimagining, they pull it off right. Yeah, I can kind of. It would be pretty interesting to see them tackle something like that. I know you have a problem with Andrew Gray because of his cringy acting, but I blame the director who told him to act that way. Whenever there's bad acting in anything, you normally blame the director because they told the actors to act that way. Andrew Gray can act if he's given a chance, so it doesn't have to be the greatest, but it has to be decent. Couple things. One thing, I'm not always going to blame the director for that. Sometimes there are just bad actors in the world. And sometimes maybe even the best actor in the world, best director in the world can't save you. I mean, don't get me wrong. A director's job is to hopefully pull the best out of your actor and give them insight into truly what it is that you're wanting them to do. And sometimes it's just on the actor to not be able to do it, you know? So in some instances, like if I know that there's an actor out there that does a pretty good job in everything that he does, but he's in the movie and I'm like, man, he did not give in the best performance, then maybe I can blame the director for something like that. So it's not all the times. Not all the time am I going to blame a bad director for poor acting. It's really depending on who the actor is. Um, Now with Andrew Gray, listen, I don't know Andrew Gray's career very well. I mean, I looked him up on IMDb. He doesn't have anything memorable on his thing, if hardly any at all. You know, I know people are saying that like it. He mentioned in a thing once that the director wanted him to act that way, so he acted that way, sort of thing. You know, you say Andrew Gray can act if he's given the chance, so it doesn't have to be the greatest, but it has to be decent. I mean, for me, my question to you, Marcelino, would be, what else have you seen Andrew Gray in that you've actually sat down and watched his past projects that make you think that Andrew Gray is a good actor? Um, when I look at his IMDb, again, I haven't seen any of those movies. I tried to even pull up clips on YouTube of his acting, and I can't find anything really, with the exception of like interviews and stuff. So I guess my thing would be, if Andrew Gray was as good of an actor as you say that he is, or other people might say that he is, I would expect more to maybe be on his IMDb plate. Um, you know, I know that he was in Bling Empire, but that's not a scripted show. That's a real life. That's Andrew Gray's real personality. He's not acting in that, if you're going back to the Bling Empire sort of thing. So, you know, I got to see more from Andrew Gray before I can actually decipher, is this guy a good actor or not, right? I mean, maybe he decided not to do acting after Power Rangers and went more into short films. If he did go into short films, how big of a role is he actually playing in those, right? So I'm not just going to give Andrew Gray a pass because he says the director told him to act that way. I mean, that's cool and all, but I haven't seen anything else after Megaforce to showcase that Andrew Gray is better than what he presented to me. So if you guys can give me a list of movies that you've seen Andrew Gray in where he's a good actor, decent actor in, definitely go ahead and let me know. Send me a link, send me the name of the title. I'll try and find it if I can. So I'm not just going to give Andrew Gray a pass because he says some director told him to act that way. I got to actually see it for myself. And his IMDb doesn't look impressive enough to showcase the fact that, hey, this guy's got more in the bag than what he showed. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Again, I have nothing against the guy. I'm just saying Andrew Gray, for me, when I watched Megaforce, was cringy, and that's the only issue that I have with the guy. So if he wants to go further in his career, hey, more power to him, man. I hope he is a better actor than what he's showcased. And then last but not least, we got AJ. How come when Sentai brings back old actors for cameos, fans don't mind that they don't give any big references to what they've been up to? But when it comes to Power Rangers, fans get angry when the veteran Rangers don't give us anything aside from Tommy and Kai, or Kat, now married, and have a kid. 15th anniversary Operation Overdrive was the only time we got veteran Rangers to give us a real quick reference. I think maybe because Super Sentai, if I had to guess, maybe because Super Sentai has been doing it for such a long time, right? Like, they have brought back people countless times. So it's like you have seen their progress. You have seen some of the things that they've been up to. Whereas Power Rangers, they don't really explain anything. I don't necessarily even think you need to all the time. You know, I don't even think you need to all the time. If we were to see the Cosmic Dino Key again that were introduced last week in episode 20 in season 2, which could be used for the Commander Shaw cameo, would you like it if we see stock footage of the exterior of the Grid Battle Force and see Commander in new footage? Oh, that'd be pretty cool. Maybe we could even see past Rangers in suits, like if they were to bring back Lord Zed again, we see past Rangers fighting like the Grid Battle Force Rangers, since we know they never lost their powers. That feels a little bit too much for me. I mean, it would be cool, but maybe not not the longest thing. Maybe not that big of a scene. Now that you finally reached the season finale of Dino Fury, towards the end of the episode, when Zato picked up Void Knight, does this tell you that perhaps someone would find it later in season 2 and claim the armor? Seeing Void Knight's helmet on the ground in Area 62 made me wonder if perhaps the armor itself has a mind of its own, came off, or he started changing into something else, perhaps after the blast of his machine. That's pretty cool, actually. This gave me vibes of when Dino Charge gave us a cliffhanger of Heckle turning into Snide in the Danger Vault. So if you could take a guess, who would you like to see find the sword or perhaps be controlled by the armor? Ooh, Warden Garcia. This is your moment, Warden. Maybe he's rummaging through the park or something and through the forest and he finds the vault and he happens to fall upon it. That's a pretty cool concept. That's a pretty cool idea. Like maybe there's more to the Void Knight armor that hasn't been explored and might get explored in season 2. For me, like I think even though Zato throws down the sword, I think maybe Solon and somebody picks it up. There's a part of me that wonders if they utilize that sword to tap into the new upgrade for Zato in regards to his Dino Knight form that we're going to see, aka the Max Real Soul Red form. So even though he tossed it aside, like, get this shit out of here, this motherfucker garbage. You're done. You're done, Void Knight. Success. Even raises his arm and stuff. I thought it was pretty cool. There's a part of me that even though he drops it down, it would be shameful if they didn't bring that back into the command center. Like let's utilize this in some way or experiment on it, or who knows, maybe Dr. Akana and Solon work together to help create this new upgrade for Zato, if I had to put my money on it. So I do think they'll probably keep the sword around. I think that might help him tap into that new form for himself. As for the helmet goes, then yeah, I mean, that would be pretty cool if there is more to the Void Knight helmet, similar to Guy Sorg, of it being a possessed sort of armor that attaches itself to maybe the most desperate or more powerful person. It would be cool. Maybe it is Warden Garcia that eventually takes on that mantle, or somebody else. Yeah, I like that idea. I do like that idea, AJ. Good call there, man. All right. Other than that, guys, I think that's it for today. Yusai does say, so my friends and I have come up with the conclusion that Joe from Gokaiger could probably beat damn near 90% of the Red Rangers from any Sentai Power Rangers series in a fight. That man is too cold. Yeah, Joe is pretty cold. I wouldn't want to face off against him. I didn't want to have to I wouldn't have to face off against that man. All right, guys, that will wrap it up because I am getting close to the time to the missus having to go ahead and show off some homes. Keep your fingers crossed that the housing market continues to help us out here. We need definitely all the help we can certainly get, to say the least. Yeah, other than that, Emmanuel does say, wait, why hasn't Ion been shocked seeing Void Knight's suit in the finale? That's a good question, right? Because even when we look at because even when Zato saw it, he says, "Where'd you get that armor?" Right? So it definitely implies that Zato knows the Void Knight suit or remembers it. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's a case that when Zato came across it, maybe it was just him. Maybe Ion certainly wasn't around when it happened. But yeah, Ion hasn't given reference to it at all. And if anything, you would think if Zato remembers it, Ion probably does also. But again, maybe it is something that's a little bit more personal to Zato than it is to Ion. Maybe it was an armor that his father used, off of Ravcon, and got abandoned or something like that. Maybe Void Knight's armor belonged to Zato's dad, or maybe somebody in a higher up on the council that he was close to, or something like that. That he knew in secret, but maybe Ion didn't realize. I don't know. They seem so close, even back on Ravcon, that you would think. That's a good question, Emmanuel. I am curious if that's something that they'll experience or talk a little bit about in season 2, because Ravcon will definitely have a big big part to certainly play. But guys, that's going to do it for us here today. So thank you very much for continuing to join us. Again, I love bouncing off discussions with you guys, hearing some of your guys' thoughts and your opinions on each and every episode and topic. So thank you guys for certainly coming through. Who knows what's going to happen next weekend? Let's trust me, just because Dino Fury has in fact stopped, we will be presenting you guys with A Plus More Phenomenal every Saturday at noon Central Time. I believe we might have the Christmas special next week, so maybe that's something that we dive into. Might take a break as we get a week break as we get closer to Christmas to enjoy with the family and things like that. My parents are actually coming down from Georgia to go ahead and visit us from the 20th into the 1st of January. So maybe that Christmas weekend, we probably won't have a show since I believe Christmas is on Saturday, but maybe we'll put up a little post or a little scheduled post or a little short for you guys over on our YouTube page, on our community tab, just wishing you all a big Christmas. So we'll probably do the Christmas special next weekend. And then after that, maybe take a week hiatus and then certainly come back for the new year to go ahead and tackle new Power Ranger content for you guys. So thank you very much for certainly joining us. It's been a fantastic ride for Dino Fury. The season has ended, but we will dive into the special next week. But until then, that is going to do it for us here today. But we'll certainly see you guys next weekend. And in the meantime, do us a big favor, guys. As always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.